Alrighty. Good stuff. I think we're going. Alrighty. Well, good evening, folks. Hope you're having a great Friday. It's been a fantastic week for me. Went to the cottage, had a great time. Take it easy today. And life's been good. How's it going for you, Shiny?
It has been incredibly hot today, and I am burning.
Yes.
I've also got myself some nice rum and cherryade because we ran out of Coke.
Ooh, I didn't even know what that is. That sounds a little sweet.
Cherryade, it's like lemonade, but with cherries.
All right. Sounding
It's
okay.
quite self-descriptive, actually. It's instead of the taste of lemons, it's the taste of cherries.
Gotcha. Good stuff. It's been a while. It's been a while since I've had some sweet drinks. And just yesterday, going to the cottage was 2 cans of Canada Dry sugar. Whoa, 30 grams. To me, that's a lot of sugar for pop. But once you have one, you're like, holy crap, that is sweet. And ginger ale usually is very, very bright and fragrant and bubbly. That was enough to wake you up and go for another swim. So, gotta love.
I think people in the chat are already reacting to the title.
Yeah, this was. There's actually a few of them on TEDx about feminism and males and females and all this other wonderful sexual conversation. So it's this is a cool one. Oh, we just got a new member. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mr. John Lemley. Always a pleasure. Thank you, sir. But yeah, this TEDx, I don't know. I got about 6 or 7 TEDx posts in the suggestions section. And I was like, okay, am I going to post them all to you guys? Or are you just going to be like, oh, no.
Well, who knows what the hell this one's going to be?
Yeah.
So it certainly is. It's going to be weird. That's the best I've got.
When is Glib joining? Oh, no. Yeah, you want to have more arguments with Shiny, I take it. Well, if he pops in, he pops in. That's always nice. We are expecting LiteratureDevil, but we're not
it's
sure.
Just a pop-in show. I think Glib's currently offline, but LitDev's probably trying to finish off whatever he's doing on his video before he hops in. He said he'd be here to make it for 6.
Yeah, exactly. Everyone should be working as best they can during lockdown. Today, Toronto just opened up, so you can go downtown and stuff. But yeah, all the work you've been doing at home, finished up. You're going back to normalcy soon.
I'm not.
You're not
till September because it's going to be. Well, I think not only things like quarantine, but while the college is slow and education slowly being phased back in, it's now the summer holidays.
Yes.
So even if we were to go back, the holiday, I've got to wait till September before I start my uni course.
Exactly. It's the same with grade school, public school, high school, same idea. So, yeah, even in Canada, they're waiting till September. So, we're all forced to enjoy another month and a bit till September starts. But man, what a great well, for me, like this past few days have been great just because of the weather and the fact that I can go downtown now and sit at a restaurant at the bar and just have a beer. And that's like the simplest pleasure I want to do as quickly as possible. Hopefully out with my buddies, but it's been such a while, a few months at least. Anyway, John Lemley, thank you, sir, for joining as well. No one knows what the title means, but it's provocative and gets the people going. Yeah, some of these are like that. This one's a little homey. Like there's a doctor in here. She's a clinical psychologist, so she's a bit more established as an academic, but she comes across as a very normal-sounding person, which is not what I was expecting. I was expecting something a little more intellectual, a little more, book smart, reserved. But she's very emotional, I guess. I don't know. There's nothing wrong with having being emotional, but when you're studying a topic like rape, but it's a little strange how this all works out in her explanation. Bad Courier 6, we need Glib here to sing more gay bar. We're gonna get him to sing some other songs if we can. It's up to you guys though. Glib is very happy to sing. He's got the chords, he's got the urge. Or maybe he goes to karaoke. We don't know what Glib does in his off hours.
I just imagine just a cowboy going, I'm gonna go to a gay bar, just singing in a club.
This is true. We don't know what he does, but we can imagine.
The mysterious life of Glib.
Yes, it's not all cameras and lenses and lighting and matte paintings. It's all kinds of stuff. So yeah. Anyway, let's see if the screen is loading. There it is. Alrighty. We got 18 minutes worth. So here's Joe Crazy. Before we even start, is this lady going to argue for a femboy Hooters? I wouldn't throw it. I wouldn't throw it out there as not going to happen, but it's a possibility. She says some pretty wild stuff.
I'll have my drink ready.
All right. So Paradigm Shift by Bobby Wegner, a clinical psychologist, behavioral medicine specialist. Now, I actually like behavioral medicine because it actually teaches you basic stuff and anyone can do it as a good form of therapy as opposed to using drugs or other kinds of surgeries or things like that. I like it, but her techniques might be a little stranger to the rest of us.
Good morning, everyone. How are you all doing?
Woo!
Feeling energized and excited?
I'm excited.
Good. Me too. I'm very excited to be here. I could just stay here all morning looking at you and actually not saying anything, but you look like you're itching for a paradigm shift. So in that case, I'll go ahead. The truth be told, I'm here to get your help more than anything. Don't be fooled by my Harvard gig or the fact that people pay me their hard-earned money to help with parenting. The reality is, I'm just an average mom fumbling my way through raising 3 feisty kids.
Okay.
Cam is 9, Ty is 7, and Eve is 4. So as you can see, they have a lot of energy, and this is sort of my everyday.
Obviously, future sexual harassers.
And my goal is quite simple, actually. I'm
starting
here
off
to raise
fine.
Good kids. And more specifically, how do I raise good guys? Good guys who will go out into the world and feel secure enough in themselves to stand up for women and to stand up for all people.
Wait, okay, good guys stand up for women and all people. Just say all people. That covers everything.
Yeah.
Right?
The way she's saying it's like, okay, how do you raise good kids? Don't raise them to be entitled. Raise them to be fair. Raise them to think for themselves. It's not like you can ever have a really strict plan for it. It's a very general concept.
Yeah, in regards to females, I think most guys would stand up for a woman of any denomination if she's in any kind of trouble. It's
if a woman is being assaulted in public, that is going to gain a lot of attention, and a lot of people are going to come around and say, no, that's not right.
Right.
It's like the social experiment where a man was grabbing and hitting a woman, but then I don't think it was hitting. It was just they were arguing, and he grabbed her, and that meant that just a couple of people came over just to try and sort things out. And then the other social experiment was they then had the woman be abusive. So the guy's on the ground, she slaps him, all that kind of stuff, and she's yelling, and no one actually came up to help.
Exactly. This is the double standard we see with men should be able to take care of themselves. They should be able to take abuse. They're tougher. You should be able to deal with these things, not get involved. But as soon as you get an angry woman involved, it's like, whoa. Hey.
Yeah, how'd you raise good boys? Just raise them to be boys.
Yeah, pretty much. Right. There's really been no change in standards for the past, I guess, 60, 70 years, as far as I know.
There's no reason to tell them, hey, you kids, you need to stand up for women. It's like, no, you just to stand up for what's right in general, and women aren't always right.
Pretty much. Yep.
Generally not be the creeps who just take what they want because they can. And the reality is...
What does that mean? What does that mean?
Is she making assumptions that most kids grow up to be creeps who, take what they want?
Because they can? What does that mean? They steal?
I think they mean, it's because it's in terms of sexual violence, rape. Rape. Sexual assault. Because it's about sexual violence.
We shouldn't teach kids to rape. Well, no kidding. It's a crime. But
we shouldn't teach kids to take what they want and to do sexual assault. It's that's most kids, in fact.
Yeah, I'm quite sure all kids are kind of like, hey, you know what? Violence is bad. Yeah, no kidding.
They just go into a hall of kids. Kids, it's very bad to hit a woman.
Yeah, I think you learn this very early on. I don't even think you need parents to learn this.
I remember I had an older cousin who she basically dropped my head. I fucking smashed it, and I punched her. And I remember my grandparents came along and said, "You should never hit a woman." It's like she just smashed my head against the pavement. It's like, no, there's no excuse. You can never hit a woman. And this is like 5-year-old me.
Oh my God.
She fucking hurt me, and you don't have to do anything back. Well done, society.
I think a 5-year-old would go hysterical if they got hurt that badly. So
I can't remember how bad it was. I just remember it hurting, my head being smashed against the floor because she dropped me.
Yeah. Pain is bad, guys.
Don't give it to other people.
Yeah.
Also don't stab people. Stabbing is bad.
There's a good rule of thumb. Don't stab them, don't punch them, don't shoot them, don't do other things that might hurt people.
Don't do false sexual assault allegations.
There we go. Don't steal from them. Don't covet their neighbor's wife. All that stuff, all that basics. We kind of get. All right. I think we're good to go.
As you can see, I'm parenting from a very privileged position.
Here we go. I'm a white woman in white society. I have 3 beautiful kids, and therefore I'm privileged. Like, yeah, okay, we get it. Yeah, you're the victim in all this.
You're privileged to live a normal life.
Yes.
Okay, we're normal. Standard life.
Woe is me, the Harvard-educated clinical psychologist. Like, okay, lady.
Raising 2 white boys in a pretty privileged position. And how do I raise a girl?
Pretty privileged position. How about a pretty little girl? Talk about the 2 boys, not the little girls. All right.
Who recognizes good guys and doesn't accept the not so good ones. So I'm here to get your help with that.
I mean, generally people don't like people who assault them. I mean, I know there are like women who do like, fucking dick bags, and ones which kind of like are stuck in like terrible relationships, but that's not like a majority of women being stuck in abusive, horrible relationships. A majority of relationships are healthy. A majority of relationships are perfectly fine, and a very small minority of them are actually abusive.
There are extreme cases, of course, and I think the recent accounts of, what was his name? Very famous actor and his wife.
Johnny Depp, and I can't remember his other name.
Amber Heard.
Amber Heard, that's it.
Yeah.
Johnny Depp and Amber Heard, where she assaulted him and cut off his fucking finger.
Very interesting. Is she suing him for abuse, or is it the other way around? I can't remember.
They're both suing each other.
It's amazing. Thank you, Ivy League middle-aged white woman, for telling us your privilege. Yeah, I know. It's like, you know exactly where she's coming from as soon as he says that. You're like, all right, fine, yeah. Couldn't you just been a professional and say, you know what? Child psychology is very hard. Doesn't matter if you're a psychologist or a parent. It's always going to be. It's like, thank you. That would have worked perfectly for everyone. But nope. I'm a white woman from Harvard, and I have 3 kids, and 2 of them are boys, and I'm not sure if they're going to be good boys. Like, okay. You're the specialist, but okay.
You sound like you try to do an impersonation of Mark Bloomberg.
Mark Bloomberg? Okay. Possibly, yeah. It's hard to gauge these people's intentions of how they talk, so especially when you're a clinical psychologist who has all these degrees and works with all these people, and we're going to talk about childhood. You're like, all right, fine, let's do it.
How do I raise my 2 boys to not sexually assault, and how do I raise my young girl to not like bad boys?
Yeah, well, the answer is obvious to the rest of us, but again, we're talking about a clinical psychologist who probably has a greater insight.
As far as I'm aware, the way you raise kids is it's just a day at a time, and you take on each issue as it comes up. So you raise them. It's like if a problem comes up when they're growing up, you then tackle that. It's not like, I don't know. It's like you like they're trying to act like you can only raise your kid a certain way. It's like you have to raise them this way, because if you don't, they're gonna end up liking boys, which could abuse them, and boys could end up abusing young girls.
Here's John Lemley. Thanks. Johnny Depp was suing a UK newspaper for libel. All right. when they said he was
Okay.
assaulting his ex-wife and he has a case for having been abused. There you go. Okay, so all that. I think they finished
It's complicated. I'm not following it too much. I just remember hearing things about like I remember the BBC News also like was trying to frame it in a certain light as well with their
right.
Fuck the BBC.
Okay.
Fuck them, the fuckwits.
I know they finished deliberations. Was it last week or this week? So it's all done with. But we're going to find out. It could take weeks, could take months, depending on. This is a civil case, I believe, not a criminal case. So, yeah. Anyway, back to our clinical psychologist here, who's very privileged.
And I hope you can do that. But before we start, I want to ask a question. What comes to mind when you hear the word feminist? And just notice in yourself what thoughts or phrases or images come up, and just hang on to those for a minute.
All right.
We'll get back to that later. So the story that really led me here was from the fall. It was October, a few months back, and it was a Monday afternoon, the day I'm home early from work, and I stood at my stove prepping dinner as my then 6-year-old son, Tyler, lay on the floor behind me, completely absorbed into his iPad, which is really for another TED Talk or TEDx Talk. But that is what he does, and he was playing Minecraft, living in that world, and I stood at the stove cooking. And that day I was listening to NPR. And this particular day, the NPR host was talking about Harvey Weinstein and other prominent men who were recently accused of sexual harassment and assault. I thought, wow, this is really eye-opening. And then the host started talking about statistics. And she said, for every 1 in 6 women, our women in our country, 1 in 6 will be a victim of either attempted or completed rape. That's insane, isn't it? I don't know.
I would have to check those numbers.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking about crimes. We can go through the list of crimes that happen to people in general. It's like murder, attempted murder, manslaughter, theft. Also just go down the list, right? It's all bad. It's all bad stuff. So yes, there are probabilities based off gender alone that you're going to get possibly raped, possibly assaulted, stolen from. Credit card theft. There's all sorts of crimes.
I just when they come with these statistics, like you need to back it up a lot.
Yes,
a hell of a lot.
Showing pictures of ballerinas doesn't do it for me. I want like bar charts and graphs and dates, and I want lots of references. I want iBids.
What you're using.
Yeah.
Also, this is also like 16 and 100 as well. If they want to extend the numbers, because obviously this has been done out, so it's still a small amount, kinda, but I honestly don't think that 1 in 6 women have been sexually assaulted or abused.
And we have to go through actual region, which country, which city. We have to be very specific. We can't
like
just
if it's another, was it Detroit statistic?
Right.
Yeah, ones which is like Detroit is going to be separate to the rest of America and all that shit.
Right. So this is the National Institute of Justice and Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, Prevalence, Incidents, and Consequences of Violence Against Women. So that's a pretty big, very specific stat from 1998.
And also, apparently, it's been debunked multiple times. But again, we would have to see. You have to, in order to take this statistic on, you need to reference where it came from and you understand where it actually came from to agree on this.
I'm more concerned with the date, 1998. I mean, that's fairly old. This was a video from what? Let me just check the date here.
Well, it's probably a statistic. 2018.
20
it's probably
years
a statistic specifically picked out to sound worse.
Right, but who knows what the stat is specifically now, and what region? And is this the U.S.? Is it part of the U.S.? What's your greatest crime stat? How many numbers did you take? What's your query total? What's your denominator? I want to know all. I want to know all the details as much as I can get. It's a basic question, because even with all these stats, you're not going to be looking at every single city in America if that's the case. The same with the FBI stats. When they talk about the whole big talk about white and black crime of when cops open fire for which reasons or what crimes they commit, it was only like a sample size of 350,000 or something like that, which is good. The bigger the better, but it's clearly not all the crimes in the country, not by a long shot. So that's what we want. We want as much data as possible, be as accurate as possible.
Especially when you're making such huge statements.
Exactly. You want to be very, very clear. So here's John Lemley again. Rather interesting that as soon as Weinstein is found guilty, Me Too mostly stopped. It's almost like the beginning of Dark Knight Rises, where they expected one person in the wreckage so the rest could escape. It's curious. You hear occasional person once every other month about Me Too, of some high-profile person. So
happened to Angry Joe, if I remember correctly. So Angry Joe got Me Too'd.
Right, which was ridiculous. And it's just, I mean, there are
and
lots
he
of
sued them, and he won.
He sued them, really?
Yeah, he sued them, and he won.
When was this?
A while ago.
You can't just sue people for that quickly. It takes a while to sue.
I think I can't. It's been a while. It's been a few months. I just remember that he sued them. Like he was something was happening there. Someone can correct me in chat if I'm wrong.
Okay, yeah, that sounds like that would take at least 3 months to get resolved, and that's after you serve papers and they figure out a court date and whether they go to arbitration or, because we're talking about different counties, different.
Maybe
cities.
they settled out of court. Who knows?
Yeah, I know that's. I find it highly unlikely. It would have to be like two lawyers get together and talk. Maybe she made an apology. That would make more sense. That's what generally happens in libel suits that don't go to court. It's like, slander suits don't go to court. Whatever the transmission of information was. Anyway, 1 out of 6 girls get assaulted.
It blew my mind, and then obviously my mind went to my daughter. And what does that mean for her? That means in her very small preschool class, 1 to 2 of those little girls could be a victim of rape one day.
What?
Okay, so in a possible 80-year lifespan, one day they could possibly maybe have someone try to attempt to rape them.
How do we get to 1 to 2 though? Let me just rewind there. I didn't understand that.
Well, in the entire class, apparently. Yeah, so if it's a class of, I don't know, if it's a class of 12, I guess.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. All right, that makes sense.
Mind. And then obviously my mind went to my daughter. And what does that mean for her? That means in her very small preschool class, 1 to 2 of those little girls could be a victim of rape one day. That is mind-blowing.
Yeah, if the stats are correct and they're the average. I don't know what post-98 is like. I don't know what crime stats are for rape, but...
And again, this is one time, like, in your entire life, there's one... Okay, so out of these 2 people, these 2 people, one time maybe might get stabbed in their 80-year life. That's still very small.
Apparently, I just turned up a stat or an article.
Okay, so Angry Joe sent a cease and desist, not sued.
That's fine. That's normal. Yeah, rape is way down over the past 2 decades, but so is all violent crime. So this is 2014 article I'm reading on motherjones.com. So her stats are a bit old, just a bit.
Almost like she picked them out to make a point.
If you're using old stats, you may as well check the newer ones just to make sure they match up. You can
but I think she probably chose this specific, like, especially when it's that old. If it's 20 years out of date, you've picked that for a purpose. You've picked it to make a point. It's like when the whole comic book thing was happening. It's like, oh no, the comic book industry is doing fine. It's like it's picking and choosing certain numbers and over here and that and the other to try and manipulate some kind of narrative.
Yeah, every single industry in entertainment is suffering as a result of the internet. Every single one. So even the internet at times, because you talk about competing streaming services and competing services online. So it's all one big melting pot online. That's even my television is the internet powered. So I have a Google Box, what have you. So everything is going through digital now. And there's not to say comics are going to die, not to say radio is going to die. It's still going to be there. It's just going to be in different formats, and you're going to be able to read your comics on your iPad or maybe animated comics. Who knows?
But apparently people don't like comics on their They don't want digital comics, apparently. That's from what I've been told.
Really? Interesting.
Yeah, I thought that would have been like great. It's like having ebooks. I really enjoy having ebooks compared to physical books.
I remember.
I like having a physical book over an ebook, but it's
Yeah.
much more convenient to have it on an iPad. So I'm just going out. I don't know, outside on a walk. I sit down. I pull up my book. And it's like, oh yeah, I'll just read it on my iPad rather than lugging around 12 books in my bag.
Yeah, I remember in the 90s, early 90s, I think it was, maybe middle 90s, I can't recall exactly. Spawn came out, and that's when they started introducing foil covers and gold covers and extended background covers and all these other things that you can get. And I had friends of mine buying comics like they never bought before because they were collector's items, and they wouldn't read them. They wouldn't even open them. They'd buy the cellophane, they put them in there and keep them. And they were buying them like they were stocks that one day they'd mature and get, whatever, appreciate in value. And I bet they have. I haven't checked out the latest Wizard magazine, if Wizard still exists. I have no idea. But that's basically a giant book, aside from articles, but of prices on all the comic books ever. And it's like you would see like Superman #1 or #3 is like, $500,000 or whatever the price is. So they were buying books.
$1 billion.
Yeah, like they were, pieces of art that they're going to keep preserved and take out one day.
1.2 billion.
Yeah. So there's always going to be demand for media or medium of something. And the digital part is just a complement to that. So I don't know how.
The reason why comic books aren't doing as well these days is TV and movies have been around for like a really long time. So why are comic books only dying now? And I think to answer that question, it's looking more at what comic books are actually doing these days. And I think that's all what to do to Comicsgate, because Comicsgate, from what I understand, they're doing pretty well, but then actual comics media are not doing as well in terms of how much they're selling. Right. And that's more due to what they're actually writing and making compared to, the apparently comics not being as relevant these days. And I agree, it's not as relevant as it used to be, but it doesn't die off this quickly.
I'm kind of curious where movies are going to go once they run out of comic books to make into movies.
They'll pull some bullshit out their ass.
Yeah.
I will.
Go back to Asimov and all the old greats. Like, science fiction, cool.
And if you think that doesn't happen here at places like Dartmouth, think again. It happens everywhere.
Yes, we get
in
it.
2014, for every 1,000 women here at Dartmouth, 6 to 7 reported rape. That means that's a really pretty big number, considering how many cases of rape go unreported.
Out of thousands?
That doesn't increase.
Okay, out of 1,000, 6 to 7. That's a very small number. And then you said, how many haven't been reported? But yeah, we don't know because they haven't been reported. And you can't speculate on shit like that because
you have a greater chance of having your car stolen than getting raped. How's that? There's lots of other crimes that can be committed against you. We're not saying rape is good, but the probability has gone down. The actual stats have shown it's gone down.
Oh yeah, and also how many of those were proven to be true?
Right.
Because I think when it comes to rape allegations, usually it's like 1.5 which are true, 1.5 which are false, and the rest are unknown.
Yeah. I really like this doctor's terminology. She's saying words like that's a big number, guys. It's like thanks stats, thanks lady, that's great, fantastic.
It's a big number.
Include other types of sexual violence or sexual assault or sexual harassment.
Oh, so there's other stats. Okay, it's not just rape. There's other stuff. Okay, fine.
Sexual harassment.
A lot of people. That holy shit feeling you have right now.
No, I don't have that.
I don't have it. I'm just like listening to you and going, "Are you for real?
Are you true? Okay, can you show where you're getting these numbers from? How you're reaching numbers? Maybe your certificate, your qualifications, why you're here."
With the pandemic, I mean, if no one's doing much of anything, going out to that often, so I'm sure everything's gone down the past 4 months. So everyone's at home guarding their house.
Yeah, it's like even the criminals. Like, I'm not gonna go outside to mug someone. I don't want to get coronavirus. You kidding me? It's like got good gangsters. It's like I may fear Tommy Bones, but that coronavirus, that scares me.
There's still shootings in Toronto or the GTA, which is funny because Toronto's become more violent than New York this past few years. So, crimes still happen. I'm quite sure.
Wait, Toronto? What's the crime?
It's horrible. Oh, there's so many guns in Toronto. You have no idea. It's ridiculous.
Oh, wait, what? Canada has guns?
We're not supposed to, but we got them anyway.
What, are they nicely shooting people?
They're all handguns. Yeah, you're allowed to register long guns, but that's been just disbanded the past few months because of whatever the Trudeau government just jammed
I
through.
I want to imagine what Canadian crime is. Do the criminals just hand themselves in and say sorry?
You would think. you would hope. Yeah. That sounds like an American thing. Like, oh, I'm a bad person. I'm gonna go hand myself in. Okay.
No, I thought that would be more of a Canadian thing because y'all are like saying sorry.
Yeah, we're kind of sorry. And
Canadians are supposed to be like really polite.
Yeah, we're really polite and shy, and we won't do anything about it. Yeah. No. It's pretty sad. There's lots of shootings around the GTA, and we don't know what's going on. Like, obviously there's problems with immigrants and whatever happens with gangs and disparity between the middle class and the poor. But yeah, it's been getting pretty bad.
I felt listening to this news report. The host was bewildered at the breadth and depth of these revelations. And I felt it too. I remember in the fall just being blown away. It felt like every day there was new news of a new guy.
I'm sorry. Have you read any crime stats in the past 40 years? I mean, have you listened to the news? Every day someone before Corona, every day someone was getting shot in Toronto. Every day. It's like, oh, wow. I'm not sure. I'm not belittling rape or sexual assault. No, I'm not. But we have other priorities. And for you to be impressed by rape is
also
like
a big place as well.
I think losing your life is a little worse than.
It's like, hey, this woman who, she's been unpleasant and probably very shell shocked or something. But yeah, there's also this dude who's dead.
Yeah. There's bombs going off. There's people with guns killing kids. Like, this is a little more important.
I love sort of one of the comments is like, I bet every bullet has sorry written on the side.
Oh God.
A good guy being a secret perv, pulling his penis out around.
Okay, every guy's a perv. I'm sorry. Let's get that over in the open. Every guy thinks about sex. It's just part of our DNA. The difference is we're raised not to be dicks about it.
Mm.
We're raised properly.
There are some people who, keep it in their pants and others.
Exactly.
Yeah. But what she's talking about, like specifically, the guys who like the nice guy or the nice feminist who's just a real big pervert inside and they just kind of being a feminist or doing the politics just so they can get laid. That's what she's on about.
I hope so. That would make some sense because right now we're talking.
Well, if you just go back a second, she says, "Oh, like the nice guy who pulls his dick out."
Is that the Harvey Weinstein? Is that what she's getting at there? I'm assuming that's what she's getting at. That's his behavior. So
every corner. I asked my husband, who's very patient. I said, "Is this just how guys are wired? Do you want to go to work and pull your penis out?" He said,
"Did he ask this to you? Did he really ask? Did he honestly ask you, his wife, the clinical psychologist? Is this how guys are wired?"
No, I think she asked him.
Let me just rewind that. I want to make sure because that sounds strange.
Is this just how guys are wired? A good guy being a secret perv, pulling his penis out around every corner. I asked my husband.
Why she sounds so like she sounds almost like she's on the brink of crying.
Yeah, so she asked his husband. She, the clinical psychologist, doesn't have any insight into. I'll just ask my husband about this. Why didn't you ask your other clinical psychologists who actually deal with these specific kinds of conditions?
Are all guys wired to pull their dicks out in the office? Like,
did you study Freud for like 2 minutes at all? What were you doing at Harvard, lady? You're a behavioral psychologist. Very specific route in psychology. All about people's behavior. Not what's in their head, not what's in their psyche, not how they deal with children, how they act and behave. Very operant, very observant. And you've never observed this. You've never seen strange behavior.
I'm just imagining what it like to do this woman's husband. You just I don't know, like taking care of the kids or whatever, and then all of a sudden she just asks, yeah, "Are all men wired to pull their dick out around other women in the office?"
Yeah. Well, so far that's what it sounds like. I'm sure she's gonna get to some psychology, but right now it's just been.
Does she really just assume that all men are like that?
Yeah. Well.
So, I don't want my daughter like having a nice guy who's secretly a perv.
It's like, lady, all guys are like this. We're just nice about
but
it.
Again, she's talking about the nice, male feminist nice guys. I've met people like this. There was a really big fat kid in my college class who I think I've mentioned it before. He was like totally full on feminist to the point of cringe. And he was only doing it to try and get into girls' pants. And he was really super fucking creepy around girls to the point where he would like lean over this girl's shoulder and like creepily talk about her nipple piercings. And
okay, then.
It was really fucking creepy. I was even like, oh my fucking God, dude, just stop. And it was fucking hot. Like this guy, I just fucking hate him. He's just terrible. So there are actually people like this who are like the male feminist or the fake nice guy, just being a really big pervert, just trying to get into women's pants.
So here's Mr. M for $5. Thank you, sir. Woohoo, Rigu, men are evil, my feelings, boohoo, her entire argument. So far, that's what it sounds like. Remember, Harvard educated clinical psychologist. That's at least 8 to 10 years in school. And she's speaking like a layman, which is good. I like that. But she sounds as if she doesn't know where she's going. Like she's just discovered the topic of rape. Oh, it happens. Okay, thanks. Show us your education. Show us some stats. Show us something that works and makes sense, please.
Wired? Do you want to go to work and pull your penis out?
Thanks, dear. No, that's fine.
No, I don't think I do. I think I go to work and then.
Remember, I'm a happily married man, wife. Remember that? Okay.
Smart guy.
Ma'am, I'm not your husband. Please get out of my house.
But then I thought, this is a problem. And this is something I have to talk about.
What is a problem?
So at this moment,
men pulling their penises out of women in the office.
This is seriously not a problem. Okay.
I mean, it's a problem when it happens. It's not like she's making out like it's a widespread.
Yeah, it's not like problem. Oh, I got this crazy urge to take my pants off. It's like, no,
it's like I can't hold it. My pants just want to come off.
Well, when I'm at work and I'm writing some code, I don't know. I just got to take my pants off.
Aware that this is a big problem. And I went and I realized
wasn't the problem women couldn't report rape when it actually does happen to them? I think that was a bigger problem than men pulling their pants down in public. I'm quite sure that's a bigger problem. But okay, fine.
Big 6-year-old ears in the room with me as I'm listening to this, cooking and thinking through all this stuff. And I realized my son's lying on the floor beside me. So I rush over to the radio and I reach to turn it down. And then I have this moment of consciousness. And I think,
okay. Criminal imagination. Thanks for the 5 Canadian smackers. Only if my work is hosting or escorting. Well, there you go. See, it's professional, then it's okay. Then you're good. So if it's ordained by the powers that be, you're fine. That's pretty much how it goes. Not to say I have lots of business lunches at strip clubs, but if they're paying, right? Got to take full advantage of all the perks of your job. But she's having a moment of consciousness here.
Let's see what that consciousness is.
Not exactly the most empirical thing to say as a clinical psychologist, but okay, we'll let her go.
At least it's not movie Bob language.
I know. That's a good thing. This is true. She doesn't have to bewilder us with her.
We live in a society of fantastical fantabulism.
This is the problem. We're sheltering our developing boys. Every time.
Yes. Do you know why you're sheltering them? Because they're not ready to deal with this shit yet. Why would you want a 6-year-old boy or 12-year-old boy or whatever? They are not old enough to comprehend this shit. Their brains are not developed yet. This is
even a simpler thing.
Later.
Like if you're a parent, you don't ask your kid, do you want Cheerios or mini wheats or Captain Crunch? It's like, no. I'm going to tell my kid what to eat. I know what's good for them. It's the same thing as they grow. You should do this. You should not do that. It's the same idea. Once they get to a certain age where they develop their tastes and their sensibilities, then they can tell you, Dad, I don't like that. It's not my thing. It's the same thing with the law. It's the same thing with schooling and all the other things that someone experiences growing up. So I'm sure she figured this out, unless she's completely lost.
No, she's talking about like this is the reason why sexual assault happens is because we shelter our kids from sexual assault. That's the argument she just said.
I'm okay. Let's hear that, because I'm not following.
Okay.
Difficult or sexual, we reach to turn down the radio or turn off the TV.
Yes, because they're not old enough to understand sex and sexuality yet.
Right.
If you want to just go back so you can hear the full context.
Are developing boys. Every time there's news that's difficult or sexual, we reach to turn down the radio or turn off the TV, and our boys are missing out on these really important conversations. So,
conversations they shouldn't be having yet.
I know what message I want my boys to get. At ages 6 and 8, they're in the middle of their moral and cognitive development.
Okay.
I have this captive audience.
I agree.
With these little lanky legs and these sponges' heads standing in front of me, and I know I need to talk to them directly about this.
Yes.
Piaget, a famous psychologist,
Jean Piaget,
says that children between the ages of 5 and 10 see morality through the lens of other. My guys are in between the ages of 5 and 10. So ideas shared by me and you and coaches and teachers and government leaders are seen as absolute and unbreakable. Yes, neuroplasticity tells us that we can influence their thoughts and behaviors as they get older.
Yes, but okay, so the argument I assume she's saying is because kids think in absolutes at this age, you have to teach them the absolutes of right and wrong. But again, okay, little Timmy, you're 6 years old. Let me tell you about rape and sexual assault.
Yeah, I mean, this is something you probably shouldn't have to talk about just yet. I mean, we're talking about using some sort of cognitive theory. I'm thinking back to my psychology days with like reading Jean Piaget. Brilliant man, amazing forerunner for his understanding of child psychology. But I think that was combined with the idea of the development of the superego when you're looking at Freud. So you're saying, okay, you have to develop the concept of laws, what it means to do good, why we're doing things that are good, what you get for doing good things. So you always reward good behavior, basic behavioral apparent conditioning. You do X, you get Y. Or sorry, that would be more not apparent conditioning, but the normal conditioning that you treat dogs to salivate at the ring of a bell. Whose, again, word escapes me right now. That's the kind of basic stuff we do. You do good, Timmy, you get a prize. you get a Jello, whatever the gift is. So that's natural. This is basic stuff.
We have this captive audience right now staring back at us. I need to say something.
Yes, you're a parent. We get it. Okay, what do you say?
I can actually make a change. I can change their brain development, and this can actually last a lifetime. So I back away from the radio.
There's a lot of things I was told when I was 6 years old that I then grew up and said, actually, no, that's not true. Oh, why didn't I ever think about that? So no, they don't last a lifetime because you grow older, your mind changes. So even if you do teach them something, they can grow out of it. And that's like she's automatically assuming that all kids are going to be just like sexual, like either victims of sexual assault or actually going to commit sexual assault. And then like it just thinks she's going to solve it all by talking to 6-year-old kids about sexual assault. This is bizarre. I keep repeating myself, but it's I don't think there's much more to say. It's like, no, you don't talk to kids about this yet. They're not developed enough. They do not understand. You tell them when they understand, when they are older. That's why you have things like sexual education when they are older.
Yeah, we have constantly changing rules and lessons in sex ed in high school. So these things are always updated. And if you want to take a more clinical approach to that, I mean, you could be more proactive, but that depends on the maturity of your kids. So she's going to get somewhere there, but she's coming across as the layman, which I like, because it's very simple to understand her. At the same time, I'm like, where are you going? What are you talking about? What are we trying to do here? Jean Piaget, what exactly of his philosophy you're talking about? So here's Punished Berserker. She got her child psych lessons from John Money. Oh dear, not John Money.
I go back to the stove. I don't know what I'm going to say. Kind of wring my hands, and I'm panicking on the inside a little bit. And then I just say to myself, Bobby, like, come on. You got to say something here. Just say anything. So then I just say to him,
don't, because he doesn't. No, like he's even listening to the radio. You just said he's on his little iPad playing Minecraft.
Right. And the joke about John Money is, if you don't know who John Money is, I mean, we're talking about sexual identity and all this other bullshit. Yeah, he's not really well talked about in the psych circle. Maybe recently he has been. I've been out of the study for a while, but yeah, no, this is not something you bring up with kids. I'm sorry, this is not something you do.
Are you listening to this? Did you hear this? There's this really famous movie guy, and he was touching women when they didn't want to be touched. And he was saying inappropriate things, and now he's in big trouble. I just kind of put that out there, and I stepped back, and then I sat in what felt like the most pregnant pause. I had images of him butchering the story to his friends on the playground, and parents calling me, being like, what the hell are you telling your kid? What the hell is your kid telling my kid? And then Ty pops his head up, and I see that he's not shocked, and he's not traumatized, but he just very matter-of-factly says, what? That's illegal? Didn't Trump do that? He's sick.
It's about Trump, guys. It's all about Trump. Cute kid,
So
huh?
is she now going to say that her kid didn't understand what sexual assault was, and then say that's why kids grow up to be people who do sexual assault? Is that what she's trying to say?
Well,
it's like, oh, the reason why we have sexual assault is because of Trump.
Yeah, well, I guess this kid thought Trump was perfect and everything he says is true. Maybe her husband is like teaching her kids all about conservatism or something. I don't know. Trump's awesome, guys. He's amazing.
I think what she's going to say now, her next point is going to be, again, her kid didn't know that sexual assault was illegal. The kid didn't know anything about sexual assault.
Well, that's what I'm kind of curious. Does she know her kids very well, or is her husband raising them? She's like, what?
Like that? What? That's illegal? It's like, oh my god, my kid's going to grow up to sexually assault someone today.
Yeah.
I dropped to the floor. This happened. So, and I'm not here to make political statements, but I'm here to talk about the messaging in our community. And so in this moment, I realized that I have to deal with my own discomfort around this and move towards these conversations and bring these topics up.
Why? Why?
Because 5-year-old kids are going to grow up to be rapists.
Assault is bad. Doesn't matter what flavor. It's bad. Got it? Don't do it. Okay? Get kids? Got it? Good.
To my little boys, who are going to be our future men. So I just quite simply say to Ty, yes, bud, that's true. Trump did say inappropriate things, and that's not okay. We don't do that in our family. I don't do that. Dad doesn't do that. And you're not to do that either. Got it?
Don't swear, kids. It's bad.
Little kid, don't stick your pee-pee up a woman if she doesn't want it, okay?
Oh, dear. Yeah,
okay, little Timmy, do not grab women where do not want to be grabbed, okay, little Timmy?
Yeah.
You're 6 years old, and you haven't even started going through puberty yet. But
But I'm going to teach you about sexual assault. Like, okay, Mom. Trump said it was okay.
Obviously, this is going to be a future Trump supporter.
Rem Never, thanks for the 5. If your child has any kind of opinion about sexual behavior, I think you're doing the parenting thing wrong. Yeah, I don't think she's raising the kids. If she has a PhD and she's doing whatever research, I don't think she's paying attention to the kids. I think the dad is doing it. So why is I think she must have read a book or saw some study from some feminist literature. Oh, we gotta talk to our kids early about sex. It's like, okay, fine, but why? What's the reason? I'm still waiting for that reason. I wish she got to that first. We start questioning her motives. Here's Mr. M again. Thanks for the 5. Lady, how do you know that taking out my junk at work isn't part of my job description? How dare you? Exactly. There's lots of people in professional positions that need to be naked for various reasons, whether it's entertainment purposes or scientific reasons. It's always a possibility.
DB Duel said, just play the consent T video. So do you know about that?
The consent and T video? What is that?
Okay, so it is. Do you want to play it now, or do you want to keep going?
I'll wait till the end if it's that
okay. Important. It's not important, but it's made by the British police, and so you see, consent is like making tea, and I'll find it because it is quite funny.
All right, there's something we'll watch right after this, so we get a good chuckle.
Sure, Mom. Back to iPad. So in this moment, my head's spinning, but he just nonchalantly hops back into Minecraft. And then I think, I really need to talk about these things.
No, he's having a good time. Leave him alone. Listen, son, I want to talk to you about looting and pillaging in 15th century Europe. It's like, why? Those things are bad, okay?
Yeah, I'll send you the video if you want to let it buffer before we watch it at the end.
Yeah, we'll watch it at the end. Why not? It's a good idea. Hey, LiteratureDevil.
Hello.
Yay.
Okay, so how do we break this down for LitDev so he catches up?
All right. So
I just heard her say that she needs to expose her young son to more sex. Where have I come into?
Basically, just to explain, she says that we need to start exposing and talking to young 6-year-old kids about sex, sexual assault, and rape. And the reason is because her young 6-year-old did not know anything about rape and sexual assault and did not know rape and sexual assault was illegal.
That's a good thing. I don't think 6-year-olds should be spouting off opinions about rape and sexual assault. I'm pretty sure stranger danger will cut it, at least for a few more years. Okay.
Wait until they actually are starting to go through puberty, and then you can start giving them sex ed, and then maybe when they're older, they can start to understand, that any kind of doing something to anyone when they don't want it, that is wrong.
Hey, 6-year-old son, here's some pictures of Jeffrey Dahmer and all of his works. You should be exposed to all of this for some reason. Hey, here's Ed Gein while you're at it. And you know what Ed Gein said about women? No, I won't go that far. American Psycho joke.
Yeah, but she already made like large assumptions. It's like kids are just gonna grow up to rape and sexual assault, and they're all just gonna grow up to be secret perverts. And she's got to make sure her daughter doesn't grow up to like people who are gonna sexually assault her.
6-year-old son. Let's talk about murder and all these horrific things. Let's talk about starvation in Africa. Let's talk about how this one guy, these serial killers would stalk and murder their prey, and then bury them in the suitcases and stuff. Let's do that. How about that? But yeah, I don't think really you should be exposing your 6-year-old son to these things just yet.
Can we go back for the full quote, because it also mentions Trump, which is hilarious.
I put that out there, and I stepped back. And then I sat in what felt like the most pregnant pause.
Okay, here we are.
I had images of him butchering the story to his friends on the playground, and parents calling me, being like, what the hell are you telling your kid? What the hell is your kid telling my kid? And then Ty pops his head up, and I see that he's not shocked and he's not traumatized, but he just very matter-of-factly says, what? That's illegal? Didn't Trump do that? He's 6.
Yeah,
I dropped to the floor.
Trump told us it's okay. He said it was okay. I thought he was a. Sexual thing. Surprise, surprise! 6-year-olds are not lawyers. They're not going to be caught up on everything you can and can't do that you can do legally or illegally. They're not experts on that stuff yet. Surprise, surprise.
Surprise, surprise, a 6-year-old doesn't know anything about sexual assault or rape or consent or murder or death or anything like that.
I know you want them to for some bizarre reasons that I think Child Protective Services should know about, but yeah, they're not actually legal experts at the age of 6 yet. At least most people aren't.
And the thing is, this kid's having a great time playing Minecraft and just goes back to playing Minecraft.
Like, yeah, my mom's crazy. I mean, usually kids think that, but he's in the right here. Like, his mom actually is crazy. Yeah, I think we should expose all of our kids to sex, like, as early as possible.
And
okay?
No, specifically rape and sexual assault.
Yeah, we should. She's saying she wants to expose her young 6-year-old son to rape and sexual assault. I'm pretty sure that might be illegal. I don't know.
It's a strange parenting method. Let's just give it that much. Huh.
Yeah, but Trump told us it was all okay.
Yeah, right. Kid's gonna grasp that. It's like, what?
Trump told us it was definitely not like room talk jokes. It was just
also
he actually did that stuff.
Also want to point out that this 6-year-old, this is a daughter of a feminist as well.
You know how you get weirdo people? You know how you get serial killers? You get them raised by feminists, okay? Feminists, that's how you get weirdo serial killers.
Here's John Lemley for 5. Thank you, sir. I hear 6-year-olds have the best business cards. Oh, the ivory trim.
And my God, Mom, it had a watermark.
That's the one scene that is done so perfectly from the book. I love it so much.
No. It's great. It's fantastic. But Mom, but Johnny's mom could get him into Dorsia.
Gender inequality and how we, particularly our boys and men, see our girls and women. So how do we reconcile this? What do we do about this?
How come it's always that side? How come it's never, how do we teach our young girls how to respect men? How come it's never that side? It's always the other side.
How do we never teach young girls to not falsely claim sexual assault and ruin men's lives?
That's sexist. That's sexist, Shiny. Women do not need to be taught that stuff. They're naturally good. However, men need to be taught how to rape, and they need
women are just naturally right. All women are indeed queens, and all men are pieces of shit.
But men need to be taught how not to rape. You know, they need to give those little comic book pledges on Twitter saying that they promise not to rape and stuff. Yeah. Okay.
I respect women.
How about respect be mutual? How about that? What if
how about just have a general respect?
Yeah, a courtesy. I mean, respect should be earned, but I mean, if you earn it, I mean, maybe respect should be mutual.
Well, basic respect as well. Like just
what a novel idea. Having respect for
human beings.
Yeah.
I think we generally understand, even from a kid, that pain is bad, and we associate the word pain with assault. We're like, oh yeah, we shouldn't be doing that. And then we later learn sexual assault's like, oh, that's probably just as bad. Yeah, you're right. It's even worse. Don't do it.
Yeah, I mean, Sonic was teaching these kids, like, if someone touches you in a bad place, that's no good. Okay.
But no woman has ever done anything evil in the course of no woman has ever lied.
No, never, ever. Especially not Lady Macbeth.
No woman has ever been manipulative. No woman has ever lied. No woman has ever done a bad thing. No woman has possibly covered up terrible things either.
I guess mutual respect, though, that's sexist. Because if you demand respect as a man, then you are a misogynist or something. And also, apparently, feminists want to expose young boys to rape and sexual assault as soon as possible for some disturbing reason.
I hope she's getting to a lesson or some sort of like ethic that we have to practice.
I don't think I've ever heard an actual lesson come out of a feminist. It's always just a lecture about how bad you are.
She's a smart person. She obviously knows her stuff, but she's coming across as a layman again, which I appreciate. But I want her to get to a lesson that is like, okay, this is what you should do, and here's examples why. Like, great, let's see the examples.
So we need to talk about these things, but they're
why?
Things that get in the way.
Why?
And that's in part our psychology and our socialization. So I'll talk a little bit about that. And the first thing that really gets in the way is implicit gender bias.
What?
And I'm sure many of you probably know what this is.
Implicit gender bias.
When we make
how do we get from sexual assault to implicit gender bias?
No. She's about to explain what it is, and I don't know what the hell it is.
All right, let's hear this.
Options about others based on their gender.
Okay,
So our
making
brains are
assumptions on
always
others. Okay.
Yeah.
So like all men are rapists, that sort of thing.
Okay. Do you want to know the reason? Oh, yeah, that kind of thing. Accusing, thinking that all men are, just rapists, and thinking all women always tell the truth. But anyway, the reason why we have generalizations is because from our vast experience of this, that, and the other, we can't we can't know everything. We can't know people before we even meet them. So we make a generalization about our ideas of women, or ideas of men, or ideas of feminists, or social justice warriors, or right wing or left wing, from our knowledge and experiences. And those generalizations are important. But the thing is, it's how you see those generalizations and how you imprint it onto the world around you, which is what's important. So, like, is this because obviously, if you and I suppose how you also form those generalizations as well, because some generalizations can also be bad, but it's not a bad thing to have a generalization by itself.
What's the old saying? Be the change you want in the world. It goes the same way here. Okay, if you want someone to see you as special or unique, you have to act that way. You have to earn it.
No, don't act that way. Actually, be that way.
Actually be that way. But she's expecting
actually
people
do
to,
something.
She's expecting I think what she's about to go into is the complaint about, oh, men don't just they see women one way, and they won't implicitly, they won't naturally see them as special or unique or something. You have to earn it.
Men want one thing,
have to earn it.
Fucking disgusting. Clone Wars Season 8.
Everyone has to earn that. Okay, people have assumptions, and if you want them to see you differently, then you act, or actually, at least act the way that you want them to see you. So if you want them to think that you are not, if you look like a street thug or something, that's because that's how you like to dress, and people will assume that you're a street thug, and they'll be cautious around you. However, if you act like a good person, if you help out, if you don't steal, like if you're honest, if you show yourself to be an honest person, then that bias will go away. Okay, that implicit bias will go away. It's up to you. It's not on everyone else around you. It's up to you to earn that. Okay, that's just how it's naturally done.
Looking for shortcuts. They're looking to put people into categories because it's just more efficient.
That's human being. That's how we do things.
Yeah. That's just normal. That's normal human being behavior. Do you know why it's more efficient? Because we can't know every single fucking human being on the planet. And do you know the thing about men and women? Men and women are their minds, while they're not technically wired different, it's a correlation. So a correlation of men acting different than women and how they act.
Well, let me give you an example.
So you can have a woman which acts more masculine, and you can have a man which acts more feminine. However, it's still a correlation that men tend to be more masculine and women tend to be more feminine. And that's not because we teach them that way. That's just because of how biology and our hormones and all these other things work.
Because they're taught that way. They're taught that way. Did you know there was an argument someone made that women are physically weaker in general because men have been starving them for
what?
centuries? I don't know if that's a troll or not, but I'm pretty sure they believe it somewhere. But here's another example of this. So when you go to a job interview, right? What do? Do you just dress up in torn apart clothes?
I pull my dick out and I.
Yeah, that's what you do.
She asked her husband if he pulls his dick, if he ever wants to pull his dick out in the middle of the office.
Well, I mean, he's a man, so yeah, probably. I mean.
Do you ever pull your dick out in the middle of the office? It's just like, no, you're not my wife. Get out. I'm not your husband.
Yeah, get out of here.
What are you doing in my house?
This is a Wendy's. Can you order something? But yeah, usually in a when you go to a job interview, right, the usual thing you do is you dress up nice, and the nicest, even if it's like for a fry cook or something position, you dress up as nice as possible, and you are on your best behavior for the guy who's potentially going to hire you. And that's because it's not on him to see you differently. It's on you to convince him that you are different, that you are worthy of the position. That's what you have to do normally in everyday life. You convince someone that you are worth their time. That's how people work. Because way back when we were living in caves and stuff, we were tribes. We got in tribes. We're kind of stuck together socially and formed tribes. And if there's another human out there who's not part of the tribe, we are immediately suspicious of him because he might be an enemy, might be an enemy scout. So it's like a defense mechanism. we instantly take these ideas and assumptions and we place them on people until we are proven otherwise. Because usually these assumptions and these I don't know, these ideas that we have for certain groups of people are made because this is how we see them act, or this is how this is coming from our personal experience of them usually. So if you have a bad experience with, like, I don't know, some rich kids or something, let's say some rich kids, and they act spoiled, they make fun of you because you're poor and they have more money than you do, then from that point on you're going to think that all rich kids are like that until the next rich kid comes along who's friendly and is cool, who doesn't really actually bring up money and who's nice to you. Then okay, well, this guy's different. Okay, yeah.
I suppose kind of related, just a random story. So one of my tutors for college, thank God I don't have to listen to him anymore, but he was like a huge social justice warrior. And he was talking to this girl who was also another huge feminist social justice warrior.
Ooh.
And they were both like complaining about how oppressed people with tattoos and what was it? What are they called when you stick them in your fucking nose and your ear? Piercings. Apparently how oppressed people with piercings and tattoos are. No. And I remember them saying, it's like, oh, people with piercings and tattoos can't get jobs at like Tesco's or Aldi.
That's your choice. Like if you have a face tattoo or a facial piercing, you're not going to get a job. Like that's something that is well known. That's something that everyone will tell you. That if you go into a job interview, take out your piercings and stuff, because that's
obviously take off your face tattoo.
Well, you can't take off your face tattoo. Obviously, you can. I mean, if you got a face tattoo, you're not looking for a job anyway, really.
This guy, so he was completely bald, and he has. Do you know when Q takes the piss out of Chakotay and Voyager, and he has this huge tattoo down the side of his face?
Oh yeah,
he has something very similar. He just has this huge face tattoo. He has these huge tattoos down his arms. He's got like these, I don't know what they are. It's like these weird plastic plates in the middle of his ears, and they stretch his ears out.
Oh, one of those guys. Okay. Yeah, if you're worried about getting a job, how about don't get that? How about
don't get piercings and don't get tattoos on your face.
Unless you're going to be a tattoo artist or something. Don't get facial tattoos and weird ear piercings.
That's what happens when you either get a sociology degree or you have an elective in sociology. And one of the teachers there went to Africa for safari or whatever, and she was so inspired she wrote a book about it and talked about how the greatness of all these African tribes and how great their drumming skills are or what have you, which is beautiful in its own right. Probably not a good idea to bring that with you in the North America world and try to get a job.
You might get a job in Africa or something. Well, that's normal, but it's not the way over here.
It's not the way.
It's not the way. Yeah, it's highly recommended against to have facial piercings and facial tattoos if you want to get a job in like an office or something.
Right. Here's Dr. Crow. Duck Sap or Harambe? That is never going to get old. I don't think Harambe's ever going to go away.
Isn't the Harambe like an alt-right symbol now, or they claim to be an alt-right symbol or something? For some reason, I have no idea why.
Is an alt-right symbol. The OK symbol is a fucking alt-right symbol to these people.
Gorilla is now the symbol of the alt-right for some reason. I don't know how. I don't know where that came from.
Get appropriated by the alt-right.
I have no idea. I don't think it ever did. I think it's just a lie.
It's 4chan. It's fucking 4chan. They go out, they make these whole things of that. Okay, we're gonna make these people batshit insane by making them think the OK symbol is alt-right. It's, oh my god, we're gonna do that, and then they start like getting all these Twitter accounts and retweeting and spreading it around to the point that actual news organizations are saying, "Oh my god, look at Call of Duty. It has a white power emoji. Oh my god, look at Trump. He's doing a white power symbol." Anyway, the guy in question as well. It's very funny. The idea is like, no one's oppressing you. You're oppressing yourselves. Suppose when you actually get a tattoo, you're actually oppressing.
They
yourself.
Are oppressing themselves. They because they know the consequences, right? That's kind of a given. That you chose to get that stuff, which is fine. It's freedom of expression, but you have to know the consequences. The consequence is that you're not going to be able to get a nice job somewhere. That's a trade-off.
Well, somehow he got a fucking job at my college, so teaching media.
Oh yeah, well that makes sense.
Then again, teaching media isn't like a big. They don't really do anything. They don't,
it's like a free.
You don't need a qualification. Like the qualification doesn't even mean anything.
In fact, I think the qualification is a facial tattoo for that particular job.
It's like, hey, I'm going to teach you media
studies.
By not teaching you fuck all, and how about I just sit back, not do anything? You have to learn to do everything yourself.
Why am I paying you?
You can make anything.
Why am I paying you all this money? If I'm just going to learn by myself to have the pleasure of your company.
Okay, so I'll explain. So college is different to university over here.
Yes.
So college is, yes, I'm now heading off to uni, but it's not like I had to, because when I joined the course, I was under 18. I still got paid for it by the government. So, and then now I go to university. Now I am over 18. I now have to pay for my course.
Well, that sucks. Yeah.
Oh no, it's just university. But yeah, it does suck, but that's just university.
Yeah, paying for anything sucks.
Oh yeah, it does. You know, I really wish I didn't have to pay for my computer. The government should have had to pay for me.
Yeah, well, I mean, not so bad that I would take socialism, but I mean, it's your hard-earned money. It always sucks giving away your hard-earned money. But yeah, I think the guy, anything that ends in studies is not really worth your time.
Yeah,
it's not going to really pan out that well.
Media studies, the only benefit it's given me is it's a step up. Well, it's not like the end goal. It's just a course to take while I go to, to get me to that grade. I need to go to university, and that's all it really ever was. And there wasn't many other options. And there was, a vocational level 3 art, but fuck if I'm going to take that. That's equally useless.
I think there's like gender studies, media studies. But as Mario Gunopoulos pointed out, if it ends in studies, it's not worth your time.
Yeah, there's no job prospects in that, I don't think.
Yeah, job-wise, I mean. Obviously, if you want to take something that ends in studies for like additional course, just for the knowledge, fine. But don't like major into those things. Don't become like a gender studies major or something. That would be a bad idea.
The vocational course means that's all you study. So I had for the last 3 years, I've had a vocational course in creative media.
That's very generic. Creative and media.
So I'll tell you, it spans everything. Pretty much for the final major project of the year, they tell you to go out and make anything. As long as it is a media product, you can make it. You can make a video game. You can make an animation. You can make a trailer. You can make a short film. You can make a poster. You can make a magazine. You can make a newspaper. Any media product, I swear to God. And they don't teach you how to make any of these, and half of them are Photoshop animations. They're shitty pixel Photoshop animations because obviously that's what's going to take you far in this world. No
Flash is about to die, so I don't know.
No wonder I fucking scored straight distinctions for 3 years. Do you know why? Because the bar is so fucking low for this course. I walked in there and started making 3D animations, and I was like, "Holy shit! Fucking give this guy a distinction."
And you'd probably learn how to make yourself.
3 years of my life wasted because I could have gone straight to university.
You got to jump through the hoops. You just have to jump through those hoops.
Let's bring this back to her understanding of.
Oh yeah,
what the hell was she talking about? Gender?
Something. I don't know. Some dribble.
Yeah. Gender and sexual assault.
So we can remember the content.
Something about exposing kids to sex and rape and sexual assault or something. It's something horrible and disgusting. Surely.
People into categories because it's just more efficient. So girls, pink, sweet, fragile. Boys, active, strong, blue. Our brains aren't trying to be mean, but they're really trying to be more
does pink really mean fragile? I don't think so.
A large study.
No, it's just they think it's fragile.
Yeah, you see it as fragile. And you see blue as strong and masculine or whatever.
Yeah,
it's not
growing up with.
To me, they're just colors.
Lots of strong women I was growing up with, so I don't know where's she coming from. Maybe she's on the fragile.
Oh, what you just got, Spud. By John Limley.
John, I think you added an extra 0 there, sir. What the hell just happened? Do you want that money back? That's a lot of money. John, I'm being serious, man. That is incredible.
That's great. It's great. Yeah. Usually, from my experience, it hasn't been an accident.
Really? All right.
Yeah,
Well,
that's probably fine. He's not saying anything in chat.
Hopefully, John Lemley doesn't want us to watch something weird.
'cause that's like 4 movies. Like that's last time we watched a movie was $50. So I don't know what happened here, but holy.
Oh no, John Lemley. Okay, I want to read this one. You can read it too. She wants kids to end our apartheid. She wants kids to end apartheid, slow down the nuclear arms race, stop terrorism, world hunger, provide for the homeless, oppose racial discrimination, and promote equal rights for women and general social concern, and less materialism in young people, and encourage a return to traditional social moral values.
Bravo, John. Bravo, sir.
Yeah, awesome. That's fantastic. Thank you very much, John Lemley. You have brightened the day of everyone here, I'm pretty sure.
And it was all for he has a 2,205. I needed the added money for the characters. Go on, literature.
So he added more money so he could write more.
Woo. Okay, well that was a great quote.
Well, John Lennon, if you possibly have a few more pounds spare, maybe you could put that into my Patreon.
Yeah,
I think he's out. Unfortunately.
Yeah, I think he's spent. Yeah. Wow.
Well, people have money to spend here. It's like, do you want to throw that money my way or just slide it onto my desk?
Yeah, we got to get Shiny up to 1K so we can get the monetization going on his videos. That's one of our jobs for all the commenters on Smudcast, even on Morning Nonsense.
Yeah.
Get everyone to 1K.
And then you have the pleasure of getting all your videos instantly demonetized.
Exactly. It's fantastic.
Wonderful. It's wonderful.
They changed the rules. They take 40%. I think it was 35 last month. That was 40. It's like, okay, that's great. Thanks, YouTube.
I thought it was 30%.
I thought it was higher. I don't have to check
which is why you should do it through Patreon and Subscribe because they take much less.
Or through what is it? StreamYard? No, Streamlabs.
Streamlabs takes almost nothing, I think.
Yeah. I should probably set that up. So anyway, that was crazy. Thanks a lot. That was, any quote from that movie is always brilliant. So
anyway, she's talking here about like how we boys and girls. And do you know why we get images of boys and girls that way? Is because they're not the way men and women have evolved. Men have evolved to take on this certain role. And yes, in a normal society, modern society, men do no longer have to take on these roles. But it is still naturally and ingrained into them that men are supposed to be the protectors and the providers and the hunter-gatherers.
It's not just men.
Deep in their consciousness, that is always there because that's what natural selection put into us.
It's not just men and girls or boys and women. It's any person who sees someone who's weaker or demure or smaller in some capacity. We have this natural tendency to make sure they're okay and comfortable and safe. We see these things in a group of people or with children running around. We're like, whoa, whose kid is that? Like, is anyone watching this guy? Like, we're very sensitive to these things because we were once kids and 8-year-olds were once toddlers. They know these things. Oh, it hurts when you fall down. It hurts when you get lost and you scuff your knee and you don't know where your mom is. Like, these are basic things. So I get where it's common sense as you grow up, but where she's going with this, I still don't see it. And I really want her to explain where we're going with this.
So the history of the T-Consent video, apparently it was originally made in America and then it got a British voiceover version, which was then shared around by the British police.
Interesting. So we're going to watch that later. So just
Britain is not to blame for the tea and consent video.
Okay. Good old cops of Britain. All righty.
Found that it was from 2005 to 2015. Found that 76% of people, men and women, believe that men are more suited for careers and women for homemaking. 76%. So if this whole room, out of all of us here, 167 people believe that, either consciously or unconsciously. That's a big number.
Okay, consciously and subconsciously are very different.
And it was supposed to. Well, what about the whole? I mean, studies have shown that women are happier doing that, and men are happier working. I don't know. I guess it's misogynist to point that out.
It's down to like whatever you want to do. To like, whatever you want to do with your life. That's up to you.
Yeah,
so like, if you want to be a housewife, by all means. But in fact, we actually live in a world where it's much more difficult for people to have, housewives, because you actually have to have both parents working these days.
Yeah, kind of, I guess. But the thing is, there have been a lot of reports and things from women who have gone into careers that, they usually step out of the careers to start a family once in a while. I mean, eventually. And they tend to be unhappy as successful career people. It's just something that happens. I don't know. It's just something that has been reported on. I guess it's a condemning sexist thing to say or something for some reason. They're hate facts. Hate facts. Yeah.
Oh, John Lemley he just added to my Patreon for £5. I'm now up to a total of £7. I'm now up to a total of 20 quid a month.
Very nice.
So now I break even on the month. I now am not losing money from my YouTube career from paying for StreamYards. Thank you, John Lemley.
Here's talk about money. Here's Lenny the Shark. Thank you, sir. Communism ain't that bad after all. How about we distribute the wealth with chat, Smud? I'm that amount of money. I don't mind. Yeah, that's true. But
let's see. We've got 100 people watching. That means give £2 to each of them.
Oh, really? That's how it works in Great Britain? Okay.
No, because it's communism. So
it's communism. Okay.
In communism, so you got to distribute everything equally. So everyone in chat gets £2.
John Lemley should have said something like capitalism sucks. So capitalism sucks. That's right, John Lemley. Thanks for $200 super chat.
Yeah. I agree. Yeah. It's kind of funny because we talk about homemakers or people that do a specific task like cooking or cleaning. You think about the top chefs in the world, they're mostly all men. So I don't know if that's more about
sexism,
what it means to be more aggressive.
These are hate facts, Smug.
I know.
I think there was something to do with testosterone. So it wasn't even going men against women, but it was. I remember a long, long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, I read an article about how kids, like very small toddlers, who had more testosterone, were more interested in technical things like Lego bricks and Jenga blocks, and trying to do stuff with that. Right. And then kids with less testosterone more interested in playing with people or something along those lines. So we do know that things like hormones can
interesting. Yeah,
I think this whole thing is. I think Freud might have had something to say on this whole thing. He had a term for it. He had a very special term for it. Some a particular flavor of envy.
I'm trying to recall. I think I know what you're talking about, but it's been a while. Those are very specific German terms.
No, it's just called penis envy.
Sorry.
I get that one. That's what he called it. Because it's actually, they're demonizing like the traditional role of women. Like there's nothing wrong with it, but they're demonizing it, and they're not upholding men. They're not glorifying men. They're glorifying the roles that men take traditionally. So it's like, we want those roles. We don't want men to do those roles anymore. We want them now. We want to push men out of the way so we can have these roles. That's what it seems like. Because there's nothing about the color pink really says fragility, but she's making out to be that way.
Yes, you see a lot of men these days with pink t-shirts.
When you think of like colors like pink, what do you think of?
Just femininity.
I think of the 80s, honestly. I think of
a lot of the 80s, I guess.
Like lipstick and cars.
Real men wear pink, that sort of thing.
Yeah. Not necessarily feminine, but just like that hot, like vibrant color, fluorescent pink.
Yeah, that one.
But it is associated like with baby blue or light baby blue is for boys. Light pink is for girls. Just as a coloring scheme. That's how we associate when you buy presents for newborns or what have you. So it's kind of a cultural norm, but we don't associate with weakness.
I think the spiritual meaning of pink is usually something along the lines of, according to what I've looked up before, was that it's like nurturing or harmony, being together, peace, that sort of thing. It's a very inviting
freedom,
color.
Prosperity, to my new empire.
It's a very inviting color. It's not hostile. Like it's a difference between like pink and red. Like red is more hostile, more aggressive. Pink is more inviting. It's more caring. It's more nurturing. That sort of thing.
Oh, here I missed super chat here. Here's Jordan D'Ambrini. Thank you, sir, for the 20. Soy boys are granted white knight rank by feminists for removing their manhood. Oh, that's scary. Meanwhile, in hell, the devil mounts his throne, fingers steepled, laughing out the words, good, good. Let the soy flow through you.
Good, good.
Yeah, that quote, yeah. Well, I'm not sure. Maybe the relationship between this person and her husband are a little different. It sounds as if she's coming from a place of ignorance, and she's coming also from her high ivory tower, saying, "Well, we studied this, and this is what we think in our ivory tower. We're going to bring it down to the world, and we're really scared about how to communicate these ideas to our children." When everyone else is sitting around going, "Well, why are you doing this? Why is this important?"
The obvious question is, why
do we do this?
Yeah.
Lane of the Shark says Smudge should be CEO of Canada.
You know what? I think we have enough ethics violations from our PM that anyone else would be better. Not necessarily me, but anyone else. I know you guys have different grading systems in the States for how you not dethrone, but put them into the danger room. It's like, okay, you're going to be put on probation for a while. We have ethics commissioners. And once you start racking them up, people are going to look at you like, okay, you spent how much money with the Agacon on a private island that you spent for taxpayer money, Mr. Trudeau? I mean, I just heard today about, was it Bill Clinton? He has his name in some sort of testimony.
Yeah, he went to it turns out that according to like some sort of testimony, he went to Jeffrey Epstein's island twice with some, quote, very young girls.
And I was like, holy crap, that's like several times worse than stealing 50 grand from American taxpayers. Like, this is like really disgusting. Like, oh my God, you did what at what island?
Yeah. And then people are defending him by saying, but he said he didn't.
Yeah. Fantastic defense. Fantastic. Love it.
Oh yeah, but they said they didn't sexually assault this person. So obviously don't believe women.
Right.
Believe men.
Here's DBDU5L. Thank you again, sir. I was too busy making a homemade flamethrower. Whoa, at that age. What kind of awesome childhood do you have with the broken Nerf gun? Hey, now you're thinking. A hairspray can and a lighter, not sexual intercourse. I think my friend did something
6
simple.
years old.
No. This is okay, not me specifically, but my buddy at around age 11, we made a homemade flamethrower with hairspray and a lighter.
We did it with what was it? Deodorant.
Oh yeah, cool. It was, we were at the age where we were camping a lot, so we were always lighting stuff on fire, and we always had knives.
I remember I used to be in Scouts, and one of my friends just we were supposed to do a fire, and like so everyone was like trying to light it with all these things, and then my friend just pulled out his fucking deodorant and light. Just sprayed this thing with fire until it would catch fire. It's like, yeah, there we go. We have a campfire going.
I remember we were getting butane lighters because they're more efficient. They're lighter. We're like, what? Well, I got, very similar to the scene with the cards and Americans like, I got a normal lighter. This one burns off propane. Oh, okay. Like all these crazy, how to quickly start a fire and to survive. We're all in survivalist mode. I don't know. Maybe it's a Canadian thing. Once you join the Beavers and the Scouts and the Ventures, it's all about, I did two treks for 4 weeks in the Barrie up north in Algonquin Park. You're like, all right, cool. Yeah. To show off our survival skills. Not every child's like that, but I was. But okay. Here's Luca Pilipovic. Thank you. With weirdo feminists like this trying to get to everyone's kids, is it any surprise that a lot of Western countries are suffering social problems? We're not sure. It could be the breakdown of the family unit, the traditional nuclear family unit, the lack of certain parent roles, whether those roles are being filled by other characters or other members of the family or the community. There's lots of studies being done to determine what exactly is happening to the poor to middle class or lower middle class people. Why families are breaking down, why kids are turning out the way they're turning out. And people say it's always education. You have to spend more money for smaller city schools. But we need more stats. We have to understand these things better. And I'm not in no position to talk about it. So I did not actually study that in school. So I can't say. But yeah, it's always up to debate. Here's John Lemley. Again, dude, you are just handing out these dollars. They won't commit a crime if they're told about it earlier. Yeah, you don't teach your kids to rape. That's pretty much the lesson there. So sadly. That's kind of the lesson we've got so far. She hasn't explained herself yet. I'm still waiting on it. Hopefully we'll get there. All right, let's keep going, guys.
And our brains don't do that to be mean or cruel or sexist, but they're just trying to be efficient. They're using prior information.
Go back a second. So in the brain, you've got power tools and mechanical stuff, and the lady has lipstick and such and hair dryers. And do you know why that they have makeup apparently in their heads? Because women wear makeup. Because a lot of women wear makeup. That's the reason why.
They're taught, from an early age to dress up like girls. They get their hair done a certain way. Not to say they can't play with the boys and play with the boys' toys. That happens a lot. I played with my niece just last week. We were playing Mario Kart. She had a great time. So this is normal. They just treat cultural norms as they would any other son or daughter, which is normal.
Yeah, this is exactly what a man's brain looks like. There's no the whole tissue-looking thing in your head. Yeah, it's not real. A wrinkly thing. It's not. You actually have power drills and saws in your head.
Guys' brains are officially sexist. Whenever you see a power drill, that means sex, guys. That's pretty much all we're thinking about.
That's right. The name Power Drill.
Power
Red
Drill.
There's a character named Crichton who's an android, and he gets from one episode he gets turned to a human. He sees like a power tool or a washing machine, and he gets an erection. I wonder if that's what they think of men. Just like they see any of these things, an instant erection.
That would be classical conditioning in my paltry understanding of psychology. Okay, so I get what she's trying to say here, but let's just, again, I'm still waiting for the actual lesson to start because she's just making setups. And I'm like, all right, fine. Yep. Okay.
Not to be mean or cruel or sexist, but they're just trying to be efficient. They're using prior information we've learned from our parents and families to make assumption about current information, where we are today. And that, in fact, becomes our worldview. So what do we do about this? We have to recognize this in ourselves. I don't share this with you to make you feel bad, but I share.
Is anyone feeling bad? She's very sensitive about her conversation. I was scared when we talked about the rape statistics. It's like, lady, are you okay? You're a psychologist. You must be going through like multiple numbers several times a day.
I think she's making me feel more disgusted than bad.
Yeah.
If I were to be honest. Yeah, please don't expose your young kids to what she wants you to expose them to. Okay, it's disgusting. Stranger danger lessons are just fine. Okay, just fine.
Let your kids play Minecraft. Leave them alone. All right.
This with you because this is a brain thing. We all do this.
Thank you, Miss Clinical Psychologist. This is a brain thing. That's fantastic. I love that. It just. Can you give us some more, please?
I think is this part of that whole thing that there's an article that came out and they were praising women for this and for the child like I don't know infantilizing. I think that's what they use. They say that modern day language is being infantilized. So the one example they used was one of the authors that they had known for a long time used the term pilly to describe his past, where he was a pill popper, but they use the terms like pilly, and they basically use terms today that kids would use, like you grow out of. And you know how pilly sounds like a kid would say it. Yeah. So it's a brain thing, that sort of thing. That's why when you hear millennials speak, it's kind of grating because they use this infantilizing language. And for some reason, the article said this was a good thing, and that women were responsible, apparently. I don't know why, but they decided to add that in there.
I'm always from the school of thought of like George Orwell, who likes simpler words like use as opposed to utilize or stuff like that. I like simple language, but now she's making it sound like she herself is kind of like not explaining things the way you should.
Yeah, like a infantilized language. That's what it is.
Calling it a brain thing is not a good way of describing whatever she's talking about. So
yeah, simple language is good. I like to use simple. I mean, Hemingway liked to simple things down too.
Yeah, for sure.
But the whole thing is that they point out in that article was that the current modern day language has in their terms evolved, but actually have devolved into less maturity. Like maturity is going away, and that they're celebrating the fact that modern day adult language is now sounding more like kid language. Infantilization of language.
That could be because of the age of Trump. You never know. It could be his
of course, everything is because of the age of Trump.
I love this quote from Darkness. Did she just assume my head organs racisms? Yeah, that's fantastic.
Yeah, she just assumed everyone's head organs.
Brilliant.
That's a tism or something.
Yeah. All right.
Here we have a male brain, and here we have a female brain. And obviously, men's head are filled with power tools.
Well, I know mine is.
Well, not all the time, but half the time.
Do devils have brains? Do they have organs?
Yeah. Power tools are awesome, so I guess so.
I mean, I thought you'd have heads full of lava or something.
Yeah, well, sometimes it's lava. Sometimes it's a brain. It all depends on the day. Like if you're listening to the Social Justice Warrior, it's lava because it kind of melts. That's usually when it's lava.
Devils get so angry their brain turns to lava.
To lava, pure lava, pure tears.
Well, this is certainly something quite. Oh, we're only halfway through.
Yeah, no, she's going to get to a point soon, I hope.
Forward from this, if we can acknowledge it and see it in ourselves, and not get hung up on the fact that we're thinking some of these things, but actually acknowledge it and make a choice to do something different. So getting back to the original question, what did you think of when you heard the word feminist? What images came to mind?
I don't think you want to know. I don't think you want to know what I thought of.
And you're in hell, so you met a lot of them.
No, yeah, they all come here.
Apart from the ones which actually had, good causes.
No, they all come here.
Or even the one that were fighting for good things.
Yeah, this is the same hell as it's like a Chuck Palahniuk sort of hell. Like everyone comes here. Like if you pee too many times throughout your life inside of a pool, you come here. Like it's that sort of hell.
What is it? Kind of like what you see like Social Justice Warriors. You create one, like you do one sin and you're never forgiven for it.
More or less, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh fuck! I peed in the pool a lot as a kid, so I'm fucked.
Well, you get three chances, I think. Like if you read Chuck Palahniuk's book called Damned, this is actually real. Like that's actually how hell works in that book. If you pee in the pool like 3 times in your life, or any large body of water, you get sentenced to hell. And then you have to work. Then you have to work like as a I think one of those telemarketers, yeah, for the rest of your life.
That sounds about right. Yeah.
What thoughts came to mind? What feelings? And kind of picture what that is for you. And then ask yourself, where did you get that information? Who told you?
From
that?
feminists.
I'm wondering.
From
reality.
Feminists told me.
Oh, now that is a leftist shirt. Look at all that text. Look at all that text.
A woman without a man is like a fish without a bicycle.
That's
exactly
completely logical. That makes perfect sense, guys.
That's exactly true. Whatever that means, it's right. Because women are always right.
If she doesn't want upper body support for her mammary glands, I mean, good for you. But do you have to make a show about it?
Do you want to know why we have this idea of feminists? This is unironically a very good depiction of a feminist.
Like, we're not going around lighting our underwear on fire and waving around like a flag.
No, that's what the alt-right does all the time. The alt-right takes off their underwear. They set it alight.
Honestly, I kind of wish they did. That'd be hilarious. That'd be really, really funny.
I bet those bras are expensive too. Like, those are probably nice bras.
I've heard bras are expensive. Yeah.
Here's John Lemley again, sir. It's amazing that she literally associates power tools only with men and makeup only with women, but there's no difference between gender. I'm not sure where she went with that. And then she just jumped into the feminism question. So she's kind of like, we have to stop thinking this way. By the way, remember that question I asked you about feminism? What did you picture in your mind? It's like, power tools?
You do not want me to answer that question. Madam, you don't want me to answer that question. I don't think you'll be very happy with the result.
Okay, well, I'm going to see where she goes with this potentially Asian Native American woman burning her bra.
If you imagine someone like this, I don't know.
Well, at least it's animated.
Yeah.
Honestly, what a feminist is simply a person who believes in equality for men and women.
No,
that would be an egalitarian.
Not anymore.
Egalitarian is someone who believes in equality, fights for everyone's equality.
Being an egalitarian, I heard, is also sexist. That's literally that's literally an argument I've heard. Yeah.
So let's have a look. Egalitarian is sexist.
They are, because you're not fighting for women. That's what they told me. I don't know. That's just what they've said. Because a few years ago, a lot of people on who didn't really like the way the feminists were acting, started calling themselves egalitarians, and the feminists came out and said that was sexist.
What comes up is egalitarian sexism.
Yeah, being egalitarian is sexist, according to what I've heard from feminists.
I want to know what rights specifically that they want women to have that they don't already have. Are they talking about states' rights that certain women can abort their babies because they're in a certain state as opposed to another? Are they talking about legal rights of adoption? Like what exactly are the rights that they're fighting for? I want to know that.
Men can abort babies.
They're no longer like talking about rights, and they're more talking about society. So now they're attacking media. Now they're attacking this, that, and the other, because now they're equal in law. And in fact, in a lot of cases, they want to revert that law.
You know, if a woman can just without a man's consent or whatever get an abortion, can you, as a man, to get to be equal, can you sue a woman for getting pregnant, like with your kid, like to make it equal, to make an equal playing field?
Yeah, can I legally force her to get an abortion even though she doesn't want one?
Yeah, can that happen? Can you sue somebody
to pay for my child?
That doesn't sound right, does it? That sounds awful, doesn't it? That sounds completely terrible.
I just want to know what they're fighting for. Really, I just want to know the one reason they're fighting. Just give me one, and I'll understand you a lot better. That would be very helpful. Because we have like the ethical feminists or other people online who are actual feminists who care about women's rights as well as men's rights, because they're the same thing in reality. And maybe there are areas in the world where these rights are not maintained. Like, fine, great. Let's go for that. But half the time, they're always arguing about the third wave or fourth wave of feminism, which are going off the rails. And they're trying to bring it back to normalcy, what feminism should have been or should keep being. So I wish I can get a proper character, but every time I hear it or see it on Twitter or YouTube, it's insane. And it's just like, this is crazy. This can't be right.
The Bloodshank says, you got to quote Dave Chappelle. Which Dave Chappelle quote? He has so many of them. Is it the chivalry is dead one?
No. He talks about, if you have the right to abort your baby, then I have the right not to pay you for child support.
Yeah. That's it. That's it. I think that he came off with everyone started cheering him when he did the first part, because the first part was, I think a woman has a choice of whether or not she should have a baby, but I should have a choice whether or not I should pay you for it.
Here's Luca again. Thank you, Pilipovic. Don't a lot of male feminists turn out to be creeps? Yes.
That's what she talked about at the beginning of the video.
Yeah. Does she really want to push this stuff on men? I don't know what she's trying to push aside from talking about it early on. It's like, I don't think this is going to be helpful. I don't think kids are going to care. It's going to be like, Mom, I don't care. It's like, I want to play Mario Kart. Like, leave me alone.
It's really simple. There's not much more to it than that. But we have all these ideas of what a feminist is.
Well, maybe if you stop burning your bras in freaking public, you might be a little nicer about it. That might like actually clarify why you're a feminist.
Stop screaming at people and stop being fucking retarded and being batshit crazy.
That would help.
People take you more seriously.
Exactly. So, just be nice about whatever cause you're fighting for, then explain yourself. That's two good steps. What you are trying to achieve, as opposed to lighting stuff on fire and breaking things and screaming at people.
That burden us down and make us feel really uncomfortable about it. And this is where cognitive dissonance comes in.
Okay.
And cognitive dissonance is when we have two opposing thoughts that creates a mental discomfort. So I like smoking, and I know it causes cancer. It creates a mental discomfort. Personally, me, I would love to eat a box.
Not necessarily. You can like smoking and know it causes cancer and still like smoking. Like puffing away, you're like, this is fantastic.
People who just smoke. Like, There's a lot of people who just do it, and despite they know the fact it's wrong.
Everyone knows it causes lung cancer. There's labels on every label I've seen in Canada for the past, I guess, 30 years maybe, have been, smoking causes horrible teeth decay. It hurts babies that are from newborns, like all these things. So if you don't know it's bad for you, you're blind. So there's something wrong. Same with alcohol, same with all sorts of other vices. You're not supposed to do these things with pregnant or in general. But people still do them. They have their vices. And in moderation, they're fine.
I mean, Dave Chappelle said, "My money, my choice." It's like my body, my choice. My money, my choice.
There you go.
Especially what happened with that Dave Chappelle quote. Like, if he basically said that women have the choice and they shouldn't have to consult anybody. However, to be fair to men, he shouldn't have to pay for the baby should he decide to keep it. So, his money, his choice. And if you can kill this guy, if you kill this baby, you can't at least abandon him. That's what it was more or less about. Yeah, look that one up.
So a little different cognitive dissonance description, but that's fine. It's not wrong. It's just a little different. Here's John Lemley again. Thanks again. Over under on her calling Kanye insane while also believing the S3 plan was real and not a simulation to control people. Okay, I'm a little confused. What's the S3 plan? Does anyone know? Anyone in chat? Go ahead.
I'm blanked out. So what's happening?
Yeah, I've never heard about that.
Yeah. Kanye, well, apparently he has some problems mentally. We all assume that. Now we know. But I don't think we call him insane. I'm not sure what her description of cognitive dissonance would relate to Kanye in that regard of him having divergent thoughts, but I'm not sure what he's getting at or she's getting at. Oh, MGS2 had the S3 plan. Oh my God, are you serious? That's where that comes from? You guys don't know MGS2. The whole idea behind MGS2 was a simulation of the first game. And you were playing the role of Snake through Raiden. And all the other crazy mini bosses and scenarios. It was all this big simulation to create this perfect super soldier or whatever nonsense that the Patriots were. There's a bunch of other bullshit in Metal Gear Solid games that are hard to wrap my brain around. So that's probably why I blocked it out when I played that game. Every 30 minutes was like, what?
Kojima's a mad genius. Genius.
And then it's like, and then it literally got crazy. And everything went nuts. And then you're naked. And then you're doing backflips. And it's like, I don't know what's going on anymore.
Oh, yeah. I remember that naked scene where he had to run to the whole base naked or something like that.
Yeah. Imagine what was that that Arkham game where the Scarecrow is like tripping you out for like 10, 20 minutes? Like, imagine that's the game for like 2 hours. You're just like, what is going on? That's Kojima on MGS2, guys. Don't make games that way, okay?
Yeah, it's not only the women that are scantily clad in those games.
Yes. Okay. It's blonde pretty boys who are acrobats.
There are plenty of male butt shots in those games, too.
Oh, yeah.
Box of cookies at like 10 p.m. at night, but I know that's really bad for a lot of health reasons. That creates a mental discomfort.
I don't know. You seem pretty happy in the cookie department there, lady. So I don't know. Maybe you've overcome that cognitive dissonance and do it anyway. I don't know.
Well, maybe she's doing it okay the way she's doing it.
I'm sure she's a medical doctor. She knows what she's talking about. I mean, it's fine.
I'm sure her wife's a doctor.
Yeah, a psych doctor, but still a doctor. You should have some understanding of these things.
Is it feminism? Yes, I obviously believe in gender equality for men.
Let's just be clear. Feminism has zero to do with psychology, okay? So this could literally be anyone up on stage. The fact that she's a psychologist has so far not been imparted to me yet. I'm not sure what she talked about neuroplasticity for like 2 seconds. And I was like, that's cool, but that's all you said about it. And then she just kept going. So this so far could be anyone up on stage. This could be a psychiatrist. This could be a social scientist. It could be anything.
And women, which I think most of us probably do. But that word feminist kind of sucks, and I just can't identify with it.
Okay.
So what do we do about this? So a story came up for me when I was in Miami with my friends. I took off from Miami a few years back with 5 of my good mom friends. It was the first time we had been away in a long, long time. We left our combined 14 small children home with our husbands.
Wow.
We hopped on a plane and we got to Miami, and we're just totally psyched. We went right to the beach. We're sitting in the sand. We're drinking margaritas and we're talking. And I can't remember exactly what we're talking about, but in this moment, I just said, "Do you guys identify as a feminist?"
Oh my.
Really?
This is what women talk about? Really?
So if we're all just hanging out together and we're having a good time, it's just drinking some delicious IPAs. Oh, it's like some fantastic, delicious double IPAs or something like that, and just enjoying the beach, enjoying the sun. And is it the first thing you want to do at that moment in time, saying, "Hey, do you guys identify as feminists?" Yeah. Hey, let's talk about politics all of a sudden. Really? That's what you do? You must be the life of the party.
If I had friends like that, I'd be like, "Who the hell are you? And what happened to my old friend? Like, what the hell happened?"
You know what? You're the guy in charge of driving us home. Okay, you as punishment for bringing up feminism or politics or whatever on a nice vacation. You are now the designated driver.
Yeah, pretty much. Let me take that drink from you, sir. Okay. John Lemley, cognitive dissonance has become the academic equivalent of problematic. I don't know. Has it? That's a strange thing to say about that term. It's a very specific psychological term. Maybe it's become popularized and misused. I don't know. Is it an American thing? I haven't heard it recently, so maybe it's just came about past 2 years. But no, can't say I've heard of it. Very specific though. Lenny the Shark, there you are. Thank you, sir. They want more women in positions of power like CEO and such, but they don't want to replace the garbage man or construction worker. There's a good point. There's no women wanting to do dirty jobs. Now, not most people in general don't want to do dirty jobs, but if that's your opportunity and that's how you're going to make money, that's a good job to get. So whether you're a man or a woman, never disregard your opportunities. Never say, well, I could be making money over here, or it's easier for me there. Get what you can do efficiently, learn skills at, and develop. And I'm sure your education will take you elsewhere, but you have to be doing multiple things these days. You can't just be doing one thing. You should be able to learn, you should be able to work, you should be able to exercise, do all these things in your lifestyle, and never miss an opportunity. Always take advantage. The only thing you're losing out is on yourself. So it's possible that that's what they're arguing for. Better high-paying jobs, but never starting from the bottom. You always got to get the mid-range salary. Can't start and work your way up. If that's the kind of lifestyle you want, of course. Dr. Crow, hey again. As a doctor, I diagnose her with the stupid. I don't know. She's coming across as very pragmatic, but what she's saying doesn't make too much sense. Like, I like that sort of basic language she's using. I just don't like the way she's using it. If that makes sense to you guys. There's something off about her delivery that it doesn't sound. I've met lots of clinical psychologists when you're studying psychology. I had a cousin who was very smart man. He died recently, who was the head of the Neurological Institute in Ontario as the clinical psychologist. So, like, these guys were brilliant people, like brilliant. They had words in their papers they'd published that I couldn't find in dictionaries. So these are, I hold them in very high regard. I've never met or listened to a clinical psychologist like this person. So it's a little different for me. I'm I respect her position. I respect she took all the exams. She graduated. She has a practice, or she works with doctors or hospitals or what have you. I'm sure that's the case. I respect that. There's no question. What she's telling me right now has very, very little to do with her education and her job. So anyway, let's keep going.
You should have seen their faces. It was like I just dropped the biggest lame-o bomb on the first day of our vacation.
I wonder why.
Like, oh.
Boring.
Everyone is having fun, having the time of their lives in the sun, drinking margaritas, whatever you just said, and then you want to drag feminism and everything. Do you guys? By the way, do you guys identify as feminism? Like, you are now the designated driver. You get no fun for the rest of this vacation. We are the fun police. You are being the fun police. We don't want you here. Okay. Stop telling on us. Yeah. Okay? We're here to have fun. We're not here to talk about whatever weirdo thing, whatever weirdo political thing you want to talk about.
Oh, Bobby, buzzkill.
Yeah, exactly.
Psychologist. Boo.
Yes. Yes.
And then the questions started. So what do you mean by feminist?
Uh-oh.
What are you getting at here? What are you trying to ask me? And it was the squirmy brain of cognitive dissonance. And I could see it from a mile away. But the
Squirmy.
sentiment was, yes, I obviously believe in gender equality, but no, I don't identify with that term. I'm not an angry woman who hates men or wants to be better than them.
Mm-hmm.
And I like my husband, like most of the time.
Okay.
And sorry, Mike. And I like being feminine. I like wearing dresses. I like wearing lipstick.
Internalized misogyny.
That has nothing to do with feminism. I'm sorry. Dressing as a woman has nothing to do with feminism.
Well, you know, that's obviously misogynist to dress as a woman. It's gendered.
Please state the actual law or tort law or some specific law in a certain state that is against your whatever cause and why you're fighting for feminism. Please, just I want that specific thing, a system or group or organization, the judicial system on whatever level. Just tell me, please, what are you fighting for? Point. Please, draw me a line graph. I don't care.
I like cooking for my family, but how do I reconcile those things? And although
This is like saying, I'm a communist, but I don't know how to tell that to others. Like, how do I explain to them I really like Lenin? You know, how do I get that into their heads without sounding like a crazy lunatic?
Yeah, it is kind of the same thing, isn't it? Almost.
I really like Nazism. Hitler was a pretty cool dude. You know, he wasn't the greatest guy. Obviously, killed some people. You know, we can forgive him for that. But, you know, his ideas on eugenics, those are not bad. You know, they're pretty, like, okay. Like,
you know, if only Hitler didn't give eugenics a bad name.
Maybe. And then friends were like, we're on vacation. Can this wait until we're done?
Yeah. Maybe give her another shot of booze or something. Who knows? John Lenley. She really found a way to scare all the HO3s away in an all-female arena when talking about feminism. I don't know. These are all her mom's friends, so they're older ladies. So they're probably a lot more genteel and kinder to talk to. So whenever you bring up these ridiculous things, which I'm sure they lived through the 70s, and knowing that this was an issue, or even the 60s with the human rights movements and all sorts of other things happening, it would have been like, yeah, I know what you're talking about, but it's not a big deal for me. We dealt with that. It's done with.
Identified as a feminist, it really wasn't. I struggled with those things internally too. At a TED Talk, Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie, who's a Nigerian author, said, being feminist is like being pregnant. You either are or you are not. And being feminist and being feminine are not mutually exclusive.
Okay, why are they not mutually exclusive? Those are two different things. Men could be feminine and not feminist. Women can be feminine or masculine and not feminist. Are these redefinitions of words? Well, the first quote is actually pretty silly, stupid, but you know, it's the same person, the same logic. So I'm trying to not to hurt my brain here, but yeah, I've heard these before. They're kind of silly. Here's Punished Berserker. Thanks again, sir. No one wants to talk about your religion on vacation. I know. It's kind of like, hey, have you heard the teachings of Jesus Christ?
Oh, yeah, it is kind of like that. You have your ultimate like Christian friend or something. Hey, we're relaxing here on the beach, drinking margaritas, telling funny stories. How about we all read the Bible?
It's kind of like, dude, do you know what your setting is like? I've really struggled with this internally. Like, yeah, you know, you struggle with this playing chess. You were like, you know, do I say I'm a feminist or not? Do I move my pawn? Like, what do I do? Like, come on. Who is this child? How did she get through all of her MAs and her PhD? To have all this great memory and understanding of the human mind. And she's acting like she's 6, talking to her mommy, saying, "Mommy, I believe in Yahweh." You're like, what? You're not Jewish. What are you doing? How did you get that? Well, I was listening to this other girl talk about it, and I think she's Jewish. Like, what? Okay, but we didn't raise you that way. Stop that. So, I don't know. It's something like that, I guess. It's hard to grasp. Anywho, we've got 6 minutes left. All right. 5 minutes. Yeah, 5 minutes. All
right. Wait. Sorry, I was paying attention to something else for a second, and then I come back to being feminist is like being pregnant. You either are or you are not.
Yeah. This was quoted. I heard this quote a long time ago. Very famous
What?
line. Yeah.
How?
Don't worry. Just don't even think about it. It's not worth your time.
I agree that you either are a feminist or you are not a feminist, but
Yeah.
Why are you comparing it to being pregnant?
It's one of those things. It's binary. They believe in their religion so strongly.
Being a men's rights activist is like having an erection. You either are on or you're off.
Or you're just a lawyer, or you believe in one thing. It's kind of stupid.
MRAs have been kind of weird
Crazy.
too. A lot of them are.
Yeah.
A lot of them have been.
Activists are like legit feminists. They're just men feminists.
Masculinists, I guess.
I think it is. It's just when you focus on one gender and all the problems with one gender, it makes it seem like there's only problems with that gender, so it makes you batshit insane.
They haven't been as bad as far as I've seen as the incels and stuff. Those are legit creepy people. At least they know the bad ones. I know not all of them are bad, but they know the bad ones. They believe some wacky things.
Yeah, I got called incel a few times, even today. It happens all the time. But you know where they're coming from. Like, okay, I know what you're talking about. All right, fine. But it's silly. Most of these words are just like, okay, yeah, it's a takedown. We get it. These definitions of feminism are just silly. I don't like them at all. John Lemley, thanks again. Choose your fighter, her, Movie Blob, or Neil Druckmann. I don't know.
By the way, all the MRAs come here too. To hell.
All the MRAs too.
Yeah, we put them in line together with feminists.
All the ideologues.
Yeah,
any ideology.
You have to categorize. You got to categorize these things. Okay, a lot of people who come to hell. Okay, a lot of people.
It's not bad to have an ideology. It's when you're an ideologue that you take it to the next level. Okay, just slow it down there, Jim. Just take it easy.
Yeah. Usually, yeah.
Your entire existence or identity is not based off one philosophy. Okay.
And recently, it was really annoying because recently we had to make a separate line just for never Trumpers and always Trumpers. Like we put them together too. By the way, it is hell after all.
Yeah.
So you can go ahead and you can be feminist and you can wear your heels and you can do what you want. But it's really about being you and standing up for gender equality.
With your older mom's friends. That's fantastic. They're really going to care about that cause. Okay, great.
Standing up for gender equality by saying famous quotes.
I think they're
all men should, even if they're not. Dev, you can probably say the quote better than whatever the quote was this morning on Twitter.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was a troll, but it was a very funny troll because a lot of people, over 1,000 people, kind of liked it.
It's true.
Yeah, a lot of people liked it, and I'm pretty sure I've seen enough crazy stuff come from these people to know that someone, even if that was a troll, some people out there it's legitimate what they believe. Yep. That if you're a man who's accused of rape, whether you did it or not, just shut up and accept those charges because women have been oppressed in the past.
Are you serious?
That was a troll, but it was really, really funny because it allowed me to segue into the whole cringy TikTok video where all those guys like, I respect women and all that stuff. It was funny. Also, it had over almost 1,000 likes on it.
Yeah, so amazing quotes like that thing right there. Anyway, we were 5 minutes left.
And, as a psychologist and someone who thinks about these things, I'm not immune to this. Gender bias and cognitive dissonance comes with me too, and this comes to work with me, and it will come to work with all of you too. So as students here.
Here's an idea. Study your science. You know that degree you got? It's based off science. Go back to the scientific method. It's really easy. I think I'm biased. Let's test that out. Am I biased? Oh, I am. Oh my goodness. I should stop thinking this way.
Yeah, biases exist, okay? Biases exist, even the unflattering kind. They exist. Okay?
People don't understand why we have the scientific method. The basic answer is to remove biases.
Exactly. That's why we have objective observations. Oh yeah, I forgot objectivity doesn't exist.
Yeah, it's also
that's right.
Well, the way he viewed like the look at being objective, which was the whole idea of removing bias, is like objective analysis is like the science of storytelling or media criticism.
Even Hume described a good critic as removing all biases from their critique. Even Hume, the people that the subjectivists love. I don't know what else do you call them.
Whenever they quote, I don't know. Whenever they quote Hume, I always get excited because I love Hume. And
Hume is great. I looked up Hume just to see what they're talking about. And he's fantastic. I love Hume. He's fantastic.
He is the friend to every scientist who's ever studied science. They know Hume if they've never touched a philosophy textbook.
It was great. I'm pretty sure Hume would be a fantastic addition to Smudcast were he alive.
Yeah.
That's a small caveat.
Yeah, were he alive? If we need to get some, I don't know, when we learn how to resurrect people from the dead, we should totally have Hume on.
He was one of those rich white guys who didn't do much except think and read and have a jolly good life. And he was a great thinker. Like that was pretty much his life. Rich white kid, essentially. So, John Lemley again. Thanks, LiteratureDevil. Can you confirm or deny that South Park's depiction of hell is accurate? I hear the Hula Girl lineup in the Sixth Circle is amazing.
And only some of it is accurate. It is a section of hell, but it's not all of hell.
We keep the rest up on Earth. Yeah. All right. She's going to start dealing with her cognitive bias because she's doubting her objectivity or lack thereof.
You're going to go one day and work, and you have to notice these things in yourself. So I was sitting with a patient a few years back who's probably similar to a lot of guys a really high-achieving college student, and he was working on anxiety and stress.
Mm-hmm.
And this one particular day, he was talking about his relationship with his girlfriend.
Mm-hmm.
And in this talk, he's going on about his relationship, and I'm doing the stereotypical psychologist thing.
Not helping, then.
Interesting. Tell me more. How did you feel? And then he somewhere in there, he says, and obviously I'm a feminist, yada, 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 and goes on with his story. And I stopped dead in my tracks in my mind.
And then obviously that's the problem with the relationship then.
Exactly. Obviously, I'm a feminist. Therefore. So I turn her upside down. Yeah. All kinds of nasty things that you're going to do as a feminist to your girlfriend.
I'm a feminist. I respect women. No, you don't. No, you don't. You're scared. You're scared because you did something. Yeah, you did something, didn't you?
I love how, because LitDev doesn't have the clips on this stream, he just has to quote them off by heart.
Yeah, I have a lot of memorized. You did something, didn't you?
It's Bill Burr for you, folks.
Like counseling though is fucking useless, especially when it comes to relationships. I remember when back a fucking year ago or something, I was having relationship issues with my then girlfriend. Obviously things didn't work out or fail, but the counselor who was dealing with this was the most fucking infuriating person to ever deal with, and really didn't help anything other than just make me more really fucking pissed off. So how does that make you feel? Oh, I think this way. I think that'll fuck off.
There is a certain point where it does help, and then after that it's useless. It's completely useless. And they're just trying to fit the bill. I don't know what they do. I don't know how they give you like breathing techniques or what have you.
But anyway, counseling in general doesn't help. Never go to it.
Why think when you can feel?
John Lemley, you have to go to work and notice things that are subtle. It's almost as if you'll find something if you look hard enough and adjust the lens to show what you want to see. Yeah.
Yep.
Same thing with people who, we'll just look at anything by Renegade Cut, and you'll just, I see, a gay man in all of this horror movie. Like, okay.
A gay man who's canonically straight in the movie, which is weird.
He's having sex with his female girlfriend. It's like, yep.
Saved in the end, or at least allows himself to become more confident, self-confident in the end, because of the love he has for his girlfriend.
Yeah.
Renegade Cut, by the way, is the guy who spouts political tirades with some generous popular media playing around in the background. They don't really have anything to do with each other. It's just political tirades with popular media in the background, like a movie or something like that. That's so you can have something interesting to watch.
Then he'll reference some book from the 60s. You're like, okay, yeah, great. It's like, great. What does that mean? What do you?
Yes,
yeah, this happens.
That book did exist, Renegade Cut. Fantastic.
Thank you. That's great. Great reference. A book existed.
And I think, I wonder what he means by that. Is he emasculated in some way? What are the power dynamics like? Do we need to
The power dynamics of telling someone I'm a feminist? Gee, I don't know. Hey, I like sausages. I love candy corn.
The first thing she goes to, what's the power dynamics like?
Yeah.
Well,
so I started shooting.
She takes a strap on.
What is this going to? Let's find out.
Explore this. So in that moment, I wasn't just unconsciously judging him.
Unconscious. Okay, stop. You are a clinical psychologist, and you just said at that moment I wasn't just unconsciously judging him. I'm sorry. I'm done with this lady. She does not get the respect that she deserves. I gave her because she has a PhD at her name. I'm like, fine. You don't get to say that with a straight face in your field. No one gets to say that. I unconsciously judged a man because he said he was a feminist or whatever reason, really. This is not how it works. You cannot consciously say, and then I unconsciously dreamt about cupcakes while I'm conscious. No, unless you're having a lucid dream or you're sleepwalking or you hit your head and now you're unconscious and then you have a very vivid dream and then you wake up and say, I was dreaming about this and that. Great, you can say that. No problem. But you can get away with subconscious. I can give you that, but you have to be very careful. Okay, I'm done with ranting. This drives me nuts whenever I hear that word in psychology. And this is a clinical psychologist, folks. She should know better. Anyway.
I was pathologizing him. I was creating his clearly articulated identity as a feminist into a relationship problem. So it's not my proudest clinical moment, and I'm sure none of you will seek my services. But
no,
I bring it.
Yeah, no problem there.
I can guarantee if it makes you feel any better, I definitely will not.
Yeah. John Lemley, thanks again, sir. Nightmare on Elm Street 2 is clearly about gay representation. Oh God, stop.
Yeah, especially because the main character is a straight man.
And he goes to a gay bar while being controlled by Freddy, and he's trying to get control of his mind, but he's secretly homosexual, of course. Yeah.
Secretly.
Yeah.
The movie was definitely about gay representation and not about a demon trying to kill you in your sleep.
I'm pretty sure it was just made because the producer wanted more money. Well, the producer admitted to having those innuendos and subtext, which is fine, but that's all it was. It wasn't implying that this was the whole character.
It wasn't as strong as you would get in American Psycho, for example, where it's really strongly implied. It's part of its character. It's part of Patrick Bateman's character. We wouldn't see that in the movie, but it's a lot of it is there in the book.
American Psycho book is, whenever someone asks you, is it better than the movie? Always that's the case. I can't think of one case where it's not. But the thing is, the movie is its own beautiful thing as well.
Yeah, it's a masterpiece.
So
its own little masterpiece.
Like I remember the book. I think there was like 2 or 3 chapters dedicated to just him rambling on about music. Like,
yeah, I loved it.
It was just like, what the hell is this? What am I reading? Like, what's going on?
When he's talking about Genesis and he's talking about like some TV show or something like that, it's great. I liked it. I like those parts because that isn't actually Patrick Bateman. That's actually this is how Bret Easton Ellis like naturally is. He likes to just talk about the stuff.
I know, and you're like, what does this have to do with anything? I don't get it. But the thing is, the movie took that and joined it together with the murders, and it was like, that's clever.
That's very clever. It's like in '87. It's they're both great. They're both fantastic.
Here's Andrew Clark. Thank you, sir. Her mom friends, not mom's friends. That means her friends who were trying to relax from raising small children. She brought up feminism. My mistake. Okay. I thought they were her mom's friends. I misheard. Thank you. That makes much more sense. But 14 kids, I was like, holy shit, 14 kids. How big is this family? So it's other people. Okay.
It up because we need to have some self-awareness around this.
Okay, so she's admitting she's not talking about feminism. She's talking about her cognitive bias towards the term feminism, and she got it confused when trying to help this guy out, talking about his girlfriend. Bravo. You're messing up the message here, lady. Don't tell us personal anecdotal stories. Tell us things that actually have value, like science, studies, things you did. Please.
Things happen, they happen unconsciously, and we need to notice them. because I know when we notice them, we have a choice in how we respond. So now when someone speaks up as a feminist, I see them as kind, courageous, and smart.
Why do you see them as that? How do you know they're not horrible people? Now you're just replacing one bias for another.
Just because they ascribed a tag or a label onto themselves that everyone hates, is that universal? Like, when a guy stands up and calls himself like a KKK member, everyone hates that, but I see him as brave. Yeah, there's a reason why people don't really like feminists, because their actions, the public actions, had deterred people from supporting them.
She's hurting my brain. John Limley again, thanks. You may not want to seek my services after this. How did you come to this conclusion, Nostradamus?
Very astute.
So this guy starts talking about his girlfriend. He's mentioned he's a feminist, and I thought, wait a second, that's not right. He should be doing that. Like, oh, right, I'm doing that thing again I do in my head. Okay. I don't know. She's telling us personal anecdotal stories, which is not helpful to what's actually going on in this presentation. I don't know how these people get these presentation gigs. Getting silly now. Again, John Limley, thank you.
TEDx talks. You can,
anyone could just go up there.
Yeah, you can. You can just set one up. Anyone can. That's why they're TEDx, not TED. Yeah.
This feels like a weird one-sided therapy session about how much she hates saying she's a feminist. It's something like that. It started off with teaching your kids about sexual assault, and then we jumped to feminism.
I mean, remember the last one we covered had a woman give a TEDx talk because she had a fight on Twitter. There are no standards. There are no standards for TEDx.
I don't know. It's scary.
And they believe in gender equality. So this moment, in part, shifted how I see that label. So I'm not here to finger wag.
There are good TEDx talks. There are good TEDx talks. Yeah. There are good TEDx talks. It's just that their standards are severely lower than TED Talks.
It's like there are good Netflix shows, but the problem is the standard to be a Netflix show is so small that you just get over shit.
It's very low. Yeah. Sometimes they accidentally pick up a good show.
Bad, ambivalent feminist. But the reality is the next generation of Louis C.K.'s and Mario Batali's and Kevin Spacey's are already here.
You're just going to toss Louis C.K. in there? Louis C.K. did not rape anybody or sexually harass anybody. I think he masturbated in front of people, and that was it. I think he locked the door too, which is kind of creepy. But I mean, he just. I think someone made fun of Louis C.K. for being so being pathetic. Like you could even get canceled for something real. You had to get canceled because you just pathetically masturbated in front of people. It was a comic who was like actually helping out. I think it might have been somewhere like Dave Chappelle or something like that. Some other famous comic who was trying to help out Louis C.K. Because people were saying, "Oh, Louis C.K. is a danger to women," and he jokes about it. He says, "How is he a danger to women? All he did was lock people in his room and pathetically masturbate in front of them." He's mocking him, but he's helping him out at the same time. Like he's in his corner. So
comics bash each other like you would not believe.
Without mercy.
Yeah, it's part of their job, so they don't mind it. Here's John Lindley again. Thank you, sir. The Eric Andre show has a higher sense of normalcy than TEDx. Really? Eric Andre. Okay. I gotta check out. Oh boy. Okay, this guy. The Adult Swim. All right. I gotcha. I'll check it out later.
They're sitting in our classrooms, and we need to say something. We have this captive audience now with these little boys in front of us. And fingers crossed.
That sounded really creepy.
My boys.
That sounded really scary.
Boys, we have to change them, guys.
We have this captive audience of little boys in front of us. That's what she said. That sounds like it's there's an agenda behind that. We have this captive audience of little boys in front of us. We got to start teaching them. We got to start re-educating them.
Okay, so you're looking at two very extremes that you don't want them to be either. You don't want them to be a male feminist, and you don't want to pull a fucking dick out in the office.
Yeah, that'd be a bad idea. Both of those things would be a horrible, horrible idea.
Why can't we just teach basic ethics?
Well, why don't we just not teach these kids anything to do with rape or sexual assault because they're fucking 6-year-olds?
6-year-olds. She doesn't even go to 9. It's 6. This is really creepy.
These
Our
kids want to run around on their
on here.
bikes. They want to play catch. They want to do fun things. They don't want to be worried about assault.
They want to worry how to get to how to beat the Enderman or whatever, not sexual assault and rape. Okay, stop it. Stop
Yeah.
it. Stop exposing the 6-year-old boys to all this weird, creepy ideologies that you want to expose them to.
Or your brothers, or the kids you know from home. But the reality is, some of them are. And we need to make a choice about what we say to them. We can either wait and see if our boys are the ones who happen to push a girl past her limit as he's fumbling to figure out his own sexuality, or worse.
Did you say push a girl past her limit? Gee,
Yeah.
what is she getting? What?
Ones who happen to push a girl past her limit as he's fumbling to figure out his own sexuality.
Fumbling.
Or worse.
Yeah. Horrible teenagers trying to make out for the first time. Oh my God. What horrible. We should teach them before they get. It's like, oh my God, you want your mom?
It's always the man's fault. So it's always the boy's fault. Yeah, the boy's the one that's doing all the evil stuff.
Jeez. Here's John Lemley again. Thank you, sir. Anakin had a better youth outreach program than this woman, to be honest.
And Anakin was a literal slave. You mean later on in his life? Yeah. I think, in fact, he had the same idea that feminists do. I think he and the feminists were kind of like on the same level there.
I would take working at, what was his name? The Flying Blue. Sorry? Watto. Yeah. I think giving him a job was probably the best social program he could have gotten.
I think the younglings that encounter Anakin I think they would consider it a preferable fate than to be under her tutelage.
Is that like a first attack or something?
Criminal imagination. Here we go. Thank you, sir. If she really wanted to send a good message, she'd have that right arrow point to Vic Mignon. That's good. Yeah, the story of Vic Mignogna. Vic Mignogna.
Yeah, the guy who did nothing wrong but got canceled for it anyway.
There you go. Thank you, feminists. Fantastic role model you are.
Oh, now he's more popular than ever, and the people who actually tried to get him got him canceled. The people who tried to get him canceled are now they cut their popularity, I think, in half at the very least.
That was long. Like, was it a 3 or 4 month trial? What was that thing?
Yeah, it was a harrowing experience. Yeah. I met the man. He's a pretty good guy. He's a very good guy. And they said that we had so much evidence. We have so much evidence of proving all of this true. And the amount of evidence they brought to the table was nothing at all. They went deep in discovery. Nothing. Yeah, he's not an angel. He's not perfect. I mean, he's not perfect, but he did some bad things. But none of the things that they proved were anything of what they accused him of. He was guilty of, I think, asking a few fans to his room, like with their consent and everything. And he also, I think he either was unfaithful to his wife or something like that. He did something wrong with his wife. I forgot what exactly it was, but that's about it. None of the gratuitous stories about how he's this evil predator trying to seduce all these women.
Yeah.
Becomes the guy who intentionally takes advantage of his younger female coworkers. And we all have a captive audience in front of us. You and me, it doesn't really matter who you are, me as a parent, you in other ways.
Can you stop saying that? It sounds weird when you say it like that, because it sounds like, I have all your little boys captive to my agenda. I'm going to force my agenda onto them because they can't get away. That sounds really creepy. Okay.
Yeah, Luca, she has 3 kids, 2 boys and a girl. So it's I don't know. She comes across as an ignorant mom or someone who doesn't raise kids or has the most ignorant approach to anything. Like say you want to study something like a scientist.
She seems like the kind of mum who would like stop their kids from playing video games because they heard online they were violent.
Yeah, it's something like that. Oh, my feminist friend said this, therefore it's true. Like that's the kind of attitude she's got. It's a little disconcerting to hear this.
And this is why I fucking hate video games. They consent to the male fantasy.
Yeah, it's some sort of weird philosophy like that. Yeah.
I think someone did a reaction to, or something like teens or something react to GTA 5 or GTA 4,
right?
And this goes, see, this is why I hate video games, because they pander to the male fantasy.
They appeal to the male fantasy.
Yeah, they appeal to the male fantasy. That's why she hates video games.
Here's John Lemley. Thank you, sir. Again, somehow this woman has a PhD from an Ivy League establishment, but still is only equal in academic success and status to Kanye, a college dropout from the Midwest. I don't know about status, but
pretty sure Kanye could think circles around her.
Yeah, Kanye, as delirious as he gets at times,
he's a genius after all.
Pretty clear-headed. Yeah. So I don't know. Yeah, my opinion of her just kept going down and down. When you say clinical psychologist, that's a very specific area of psychology you can get into. It's kind of like not specifically well-rounded, but you work with so many fields and doing multiple different things. You could be studying the brain. You could be working with a specific kind of mental condition, with the geriatrics, with neurology. You could be doing outpatient research. You can do all sorts of things. And for her, I don't know what she's studying. To me, it just sounds like she's a crazy mom, really. That's all it comes across as. He does have a PhD. Kanye has a PhD? Are you serious? Are you serious?
Honorary PhD.
Oh, from where?
I have no idea.
Oh my God, they gave him a PhD.
Oshans says honorary PhD. Oh, it's a question. It's a question. I don't know. I didn't even know he had a PhD. But I've heard about people giving out honorary PhDs. So I've
seen some famous people get them, but they're usually media moguls, or they've contributed to one area of like the arts or something. So I see that happen here and there. One of my bosses got one for new media or something, because he was a media mogul. So yeah, it's not unheard of. But Kanye, really interesting, fascinating stuff. Anyway,
to bring this up, and we need to bring this up now.
Why?
What research tells us is that rapists don't see themselves that way.
Where did we get back to rape? What? Holy shit.
Rapists don't see themselves as rapists. I'll go back because I want to.
What, you mean bad guys don't see themselves as bad guys? Say it ain't so. It
doesn't matter who you are, me as a parent, you in other ways. But we know we need to bring this up, and we need to bring this up now. What research tells us is that rapists don't see themselves that way. But they will say, yes, I have non-consensual sex. But they don't identify as a rapist.
Bad guys have kind of trying to justify their actions. Say it ain't so. Yeah, no one else does that. No one else ever does that.
The criminals rationalizing their behavior. Wow.
Criminals don't see themselves as criminals. They see themselves as innocent people of circumstance or whatever. Yeah, it's a common thing. Okay, it's not just rapists.
Hey, they fell onto my knife.
Yeah, his chest kept getting in the way of my fist.
I didn't really force that person to suicide.
John Lemley, Art Institute of Chicago, plus he has another meaning for the initials. Oh, okay. Yeah, that sounds like Kanye. All right, Institute of Chicago. Interesting. I didn't know what prestige that is in Chicago, but cool. Good on him. He's obviously popular there. And again, guys, Ted Bundy didn't think he was Ted Bundy. Yeah, well. See, this is what I'm missing from the movie of American Psycho. If you actually read the book, there's so much, the violence is over the top. He's a cannibal. He's drinking blood. He's doing all this crazy stuff.
He likes to cook a little.
Oh God, yeah. It's really gory. So when you watch the movie, you're like, oh, this is pretty visceral. It's pretty bad. It's like, yeah, but that's nothing compared to the book.
If you weak stomach, do not read the book. Okay, from what I remember, it's the violence and gore is done in excruciating detail.
Yeah, the same amount of detail he takes to when he's talking about music, they spend almost the same amount of time about gore. It's just over the top crazy. So, and Victor Massacre, cool name. He got an honorary degree in Chicago. Yes, thank you. That was just also mentioned by John. Thank you, guys. That's good to know. Did not know that before. That's good on Kanye. He's made his mark.
And we know these transgressions for these guys start early. They start in high school, they start in college, and they start with people they know. So I know I need to move towards these conversations.
But you know that the people that actually commit sexual assault, that is a very small amount of people.
Yeah. It's like she wants to identify sociopaths early on or something. I think that's her goal.
There will always be people who commit crimes, and there's nothing you can really do to stop that. Really, like there's nothing you can actively do, because otherwise, I mean, but what I mean by that is like with individual kids. So it's like you can't assume that this kid is going to grow up and commit a crime, because there's no evidence to show that they're going to be one of the small minority of people who are going to go and commit this specific crime. It's like, you know, Captain America, like Winter Soldier, where they're trying to stop crime before it even happens. It's like, hey, you could possibly be a criminal in the future. I'm going to shoot you.
Kind of reminds me of, was it Minority Report? That entire film is illegal. It's like, we're going to stop you for attempted murder. It's like, I haven't done anything yet. It's like, I know, you're about to. Like, what?
Yeah, you will commit a crime. Therefore, we're going to arrest you now before you commit it.
Yeah, it's like, what? That's illegal. You can't do
that. Sounds like tyranny to me.
Yeah, wrong thing, sir. You're thinking about it. We know. Just you haven't done it yet.
Help in court too? Like, because okay, where's the victim? Where's the murder victim? Right here. They look so alive to me.
Are you a ghost?
Where's the murder? Where exactly was all the murder you're talking about? Well, the victim has not committed the murder yet. Get out of my courtroom.
John Limley.
Like Voyager. It was an episode of Voyager where the mere thought of violence was like a crime in itself.
Well, Voyager was not the... When they made Voyager, they weren't saying their best. Okay, they weren't saying their best. They weren't saying their worst either, by the way, but they definitely weren't saying their best.
That morning routine scene in American Psycho is still top tier film. It's up there. It's pretty wild. It's the descriptions, the details.
It's one of my personal favorites. Favorite scenes of all time.
I get up and I cook myself a breakfast, and then I use some aftershave.
I can do it.
I make sure I do this and that, the other, and I do 1,000 push-ups.
Yeah, in the morning, I do crunches. I could do
600.
I can do 1,000 now. In the morning, my face is looking a little puffy. I put it on an ice mask. Yeah, I like it. I like it a lot. They did a Margot Robbie spin-off of that, by the way.
You know, I bet someone could do like an edit of Batman because it's Christian Bale.
that could totally work.
What just happened now?
That could totally work. Yeah, no, Batman's crazy too. So
Batman, like an American Psycho, it's like I get up in the morning and do 1,000 crunches.
And I encourage you to do the same to me. So the norms in our society override our internal beliefs. So if you don't actually think about this, you can't do anything different. You have to move towards it and say.
We're now sponsored by Honey.
Bam! Savings from Honey. Oh my!
This stream is brought to you by Shade, right? Raid Shadow Legends. Raid Legends.
Raid Shadow Kendo Legends.
Yeah.
Acknowledge gender inequity. Notice cognitive dissonance in yourself. Notice implicit gender bias. And say some
gender bias. She didn't say a damn thing about gender bias.
We need to stop peace in the. We need to stop peace in the Middle East. We need to make the nuclear arms race faster. I've forgotten that quote. Dev, do the exact opposite of the quote.
Oh, that is such a specific series of.
Okay.
At the dinner table.
Speed up the nuclear arms race. Keep terrorism and world hunger. Take away the homes from the homelessness. Keep going with the racial discrimination. Promote more gender discrimination, social concerns, and more materialism in young people, and disencourage a return to normal traditional moral values.
Exact opposite. That's great. John Lemley, thanks again, sir. Guys, she encouraged us to do it, so now we got to do it. You know what? That was a meandering, anecdotal presentation, and I don't know why she had 3 or 4 stories to go that were all different. It was just a mishmash of ideas.
So at the beginning, it was about, okay, so we need to teach our kids about rape. And then she moves on to something about how we see gender differently. And gender bias, and then she goes on back to rape.
Yeah, I guess the focus was rape. I guess so. I don't know. It's hard to say.
She's a feminist. It's always rape.
Yeah, that's true. That's how it goes.
There's an idea of feminism, some kind of abstraction.
Yeah.
But there's no real feminist. Okay.
If you haven't done it already, you need to do a video where there's an idea of a social justice warrior.
There's an idea of a social justice warrior.
Please edit
action, but there's no real social justice. Okay, there's only an entity, something illusory.
Anita Sarkeesian gets up in the morning and she doesn't do anything.
She doesn't put on eyeshadow. She doesn't use all these expensive items, and she can't do 1,000 crunches.
She gets up and she has a chocolate bar, and she pretends to play video games. So she tweets.
I actually made a one-page comic spoofing that intro, but with like one of my characters and one of my Dr. Alpha characters instead.
Cool.
It'll come out if we're late on the project.
Here's Victor. Sorry, why did I say Victor? Visitor.
If you didn't keep making extra pages for if you were late, maybe you wouldn't be late.
No, I would be if we're late.
So here's Visitor Massacre. Sorry, I said Victor before. I just want to give you money. Well, thank you, Visitor. That's always a nice thing. I like money. Money's nice.
Money is a nice thing, isn't it?
Whenever you have a gift and you don't know who to give or what to give to someone, and you just don't know their taste, it's like give the gift of cash. It's like the nicest thing. Like here's $1. It's like I don't need $1, but that's a nice thing to give someone. They will accept it. They should accept $1. $1 is a great way of saying hello.
You might have a thought, but a thought is just a neural firing.
Oh my God. This person is a clinical psycho. Thought go back just a neural firing. It's like, thanks, lady. So is lifting my finger. What do you want? What do you want from us?
Notice cognitive dissonance in yourself. Notice implicit gender bias, and say something different. You might have a thought, but a thought is just a neural firing. It doesn't have to become an action or a word. So notice what you're thinking and say something different, even if it's
okay. So just because you think something doesn't necessarily mean you're doing so.
That's right. Your thoughts are not actions, lady. We got it. We got you. Wow, what a great category. When you said thought, I was like, okay, maybe you should. Yeah, this is the one I was looking. A thought is a thought. There you go. That's what I was thinking.
If she breathes, she's a thought.
I wonder if her head will explode if she saw a Serbian film. I think if she saw anything from Serbia, I think her head would explode, let alone a film. Oh, here we go. Oh, this is great. John Lemley. Guys, rape is just an action. Yeah, I know. It's just a neural fiber firing. That's all it is, guys. You know, you got your C fibers and your delta fibers communicating. That's all it is. It's all it is.
Rape.
Yeah. So, I mean, so at the end of the day, you know, a feminist she can hide her cold gaze, and you can even shake her hand and feel pleasure in yours. But there's no real feminist there.
There's nothing in this. You just kind of like wave your hand in front of their face, and there's nothing there.
Yeah, you can even sense that your lifestyles are probably comparable, but they're simply not there.
It's different than what you've thought, and the repair is much more important than the rupture. Expect we're going to make ruptures. None of us are perfect in this.
What is ruptures? What are we talking about here? What are we rupturing?
Thinking so hard that she just has a brain rupture.
Yeah, it's like my ganglia is going to rupture. If you have any problem with your brain rupturing, you're dead. Having a stroke. Oh, that's just a brain rupture. You're fine.
I think about this, and I do this all the time. So say something different. It's the repair that's more important. Secondly, if somebody asks, say, yes, I am a feminist.
What if I'm not?
Yes.
What if I'm not a feminist?
What if you're like an anti-feminist or something like that?
What if I am the most alt-right of alt-righters and I believe that all black people should be killed or something?
Well, then apparently you're a feminist.
Yeah. Just say you are. It's okay.
Just say yes.
Hey,
just say yes.
KKK. Are you a feminist? Yes.
Never underestimate the power of yes.
It's just a neural fiber, guys. It's just firing. It's all it's doing. It's all, it's just another neural fiber firing. Your synapse is just playing tricks on you. Don't worry about it.
Yes, I believe in equal rights for men and women. And even if this is a bit uncomfortable for you or not how you see yourself, this is really important for our younger generation.
I love how she hasn't defined what the rights were that she needs to be a feminist about. She just believes it. I believe in equal rights for men and women. It's like, which ones? Which kind? Like, is there one that's not equal? Which one? Tell us. Justify your position with something. Give us a law. Give us a federal law. Give us a state law. Give us anything to see what you're talking about. Because you just described what everyone already believes already.
This is really important for our young boys and our young girls who hear our moms and dads and big brothers say, yes, absolutely.
I can't stop hearing that American Psycho quote every time. Every fucking time now.
Because it fits so well.
Yes. John Lemley rupture. Let's just pack it in. Disney won. They forced Endgame on us all. I don't know what the hell she's talking about. I guess she means maybe there is damage to the ganglia that is difference between repairing, which I don't even know if we could do that in the brain compared to rupturing brain cells. I don't know. It's possible. I'm curious because that's a very specific verb. So she must know what she's talking about. So yeah, talk to your kids early. Say something. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just speak up. Be a leader. All right. She could be talking about baseball for all we know.
Something early. It doesn't have to be perfect, but just say something. You can fumble your way through it. Speak up.
Yeah, that's a really great idea. Fumble your way through talking about sex. That's really, isn't that a stereotype of men talking to their younger children about sex, and they're overall self-conscious. They're not sure what to say. And, oh my God, what do I do? Imagine talking to your 6-year-old. That's real comfortable. Great plan. Great idea. Let's teach our kids about sex when they're 6.
Not a great plan.
No, horrible idea.
Be a leader in this. Feminist boys are our future men.
No, they're not.
Thank you.
I got bullshit on that now.
Oh dear.
I mean, you can call them men, but I'm not quite sure if that'd be factual.
Technically, any boy that's going to grow up as an adult will become a man. Yes.
I don't know. The male feminists I've met, I'm not sure you can call them.
You're not too sure. Okay.
I mean, what I'm seeing is different to what I'm hearing. I mean, I hear man, but I see a little shit, little whiny bitch baby.
A little whiny bitch baby. Oh, jeez. Yeah, no bias, no cognitive dissonance from Shiny. He knows exactly what he's talking about. So we want to do the consent video. It's going to take what, a few minutes?
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's do it.
Pause. It's just something to laugh at. It's a palate cleanser.
All right, let's do it. All right,
if you're still struggling with consent, just imagine instead of initiating sex, you're making them a cup of tea. You say, "Hey, would you like a cup of tea?" And they go, "Oh my God, I would love a cup of tea. Thank you." Then you know they want a cup of tea.
Oh, Jesus. John Lemley, yeah, it's a social construct. Thank you, John. Oh, God. Let's keep going. This is too silly.
If you say, "Hey, would you like a cup of tea?" And they're like, I'm not really sure. Then you can make them a cup of tea, or not, but be aware that they might not drink it. And if they don't drink...
That's just awkward then. It's like, I'm going to pull up my genitals, but, you know.
Consent is like making tea. It's like, oh, well, I don't really want any tea. It's, well, here's some tea.
I've already made the tea. Do you want some or not? It's like, no, I don't want the tea. Oh my God. What the hell were you doing? That brings a whole new meaning to making a cup of tea. What happened to the pot? Like, what did
drink it, then, and this is the important bit, don't make them drink it. Just because you made it doesn't mean you're entitled to watch them drink it. And if they say,
"Oh my God,
no, thank you," then don't make them tea.
Here's the important part. Don't make them drink the tea. I just love the idea. It's like, so, like, Like, even if it wasn't about rape, there's just people.
Oh boy.
Hey, do you want some tea? It's like, I'm not really sure. It's like, oh, what did they make them tea? It's like, yo, fucking drink this tea. Fucking drink it.
All right, let me calm down. Let me read the super chat. Bring us back down to the previous video.
Is LiteratureDevil dead already?
I don't know. I'm really confused. Why do I need to be a feminist to care about women and treat them as equals? I don't know. She should explain it. Why are those two positions constantly combined? You know what? In their mind, it is the same thing. To us, it's not. I don't know why they... I thought you'd be intelligent enough coming from Harvard to figure this stuff out, but apparently not.
LiteratureDevil, are you dead? Please tell me you're not missing this.
I think he's dead.
No, he's missing this. No,
He's missing it.
Can't let him miss it.
Isn't making tea but not serving it what Louis C.K. did? Essentially, yeah, I guess so. And even then, he wasn't cheating. He was just goofing around. He wasn't actually going to have...
You don't want Litter to miss it. It's too gold.
Well, we'll send it to him later. It's okay.
Okay.
Just don't make them tea. Don't make them drink tea. Don't get annoyed at them for not wanting tea. They just don't want tea, okay? They might say, yes, please. That's kind of you. And then when the tea arrives, they actually don't want the tea at all.
Is this a very British thing? Yes, please.
It's a British voice.
Okay.
It's not actually made by Britain.
Okay.
Well, the voiceover's by Britain.
That's surprising because there's not tea in it.
Oh, he's back.
Yeah, I'm back.
How did you miss?
You missed the wonderful analogy of tea and sex. It's fantastic.
How much did you miss? We have to go back.
No, we're good. We're good.
No, you can't miss it. You can't.
I can put together by context clues. I also put the Margot Robbie American Psycho opening in the private chat. If you want to check that out also.
Oh, okay, I'll check it out.
Sure, that's kind of annoying as you've gone to all the effort of making the tea, but they remain under no obligation to drink the tea. They did want tea. Now they don't.
Did they get a British person to voice it because it wasn't woke enough?
I guess the tea really sold the idea on being British.
Sound woke enough. Let's get a British person in here.
This is specifically the British voiceover.
Could have been the Indian tea or Chinese tea, but no, it's British, guys. That's how it works. Yeah, tea is it's just a social. It's just you're in your head. It's just a neuron firing, man. It's all it is. It's just
tea is a social construct.
It's all it is.
It's only there.
Yeah.
It's only there if you see it as there. It's only a drink if you see it as a drink.
If you don't perceive it, it's not there. Don't worry.
Yeah, perceive it as a drink. Yeah, that's it.
Change their mind in the time it takes to boil the kettle, brew the tea, and add the milk. And it's okay for people to change their mind, and you are still not entitled to watch them drink it. And if they're unconscious, don't make them tea.
Oh, you no. I should want to.
Where did that come from?
If someone's unconscious, do not make them tea. That should be a perfect slogan for a shirt.
Oh no, but it gets better.
It gets better. That's pretty good.
Don't want tea, and they can't answer the question, do you want tea? Because they're unconscious. Okay, maybe they were conscious when you asked them if they wanted tea, and they said yes, but in the time it took you to boil the kettle or brew the tea and add the milk, they are now unconscious.
Can I say
you should just put the tea down.
What do I do with this tea, though? I mean, it's like hot and piping hot and fresh. What do I do? Just dump down the sink? Do I drink it myself? What's going on now?
Sir, please put the tea down.
He does not want tea. He does not consent to the tea.
I feel lethal on the verge of frenzy. I think my mask of sanity is about to sip. Oh.
I feel lethal on the verge of frenzy. If they have like a British Psycho, that'd be it.
British Psycho story, that'd be fantastic.
Make sure the unconscious person is safe. And this is the important part again. Don't make them drink the tea.
Okay, first of all, why is it my responsibility to make sure the unconscious person is safe if all I'm doing is making him tea?
I love how they're making a huge mess. They're just like, blah.
It's now my cares, my charge now.
Burning their mouths like,
it's serious business in Britain.
Sir, put the tea down. They do not consent.
He's unconscious. I better just pour the tea down his throat.
Swallow, damn it. Swallow the tea.
Oh, God.
It's all scorching hot, too.
It's like burning. You can't feel anything because they're asleep and they wake up, oh, my mouth.
And they have that distinct uncomfortable taste of tea in their mouth.
It's all Earl Grey. Oh, it's so bitter.
Aftertaste of tea. Oh, if you don't like Earl Grey, you're racist.
Yeah, that's pretty much how it goes. All I learned from the past 2 videos is that women don't want to end the nuclear arms race, and that tea is unwanted more often than not. Well,
And the person is unconscious. Do not make them tea.
Make sure they're safe. And here's the important part: don't make them drink.
you can put the tea under a comforter while they wait until they wake up, but they may not want tea after that. In that case, make them a brand new kettle of tea.
In the time it takes you, they may say, "I want some tea," but when you come back, after the time it takes you to make to brew the kettle and to pour in the milk, they may be unconscious.
Also, how unconscious are they that they won't notice someone pouring piping hot tea down the throat?
I just imagine like Agent 47s just came in here, he just drugged them, and
It's death by tea.
like Agent 47.
That'd be an epic kill, by the way. This is death by tea.
Please, IOI, if any of you are listening, just please make it death by tea.
Most elaborate death ever. First, drug them so they fall asleep, then kill them with tea.
If a person is unconscious, do not make them tea.
What were you doing, sir? I'm room service. What do you mean? I brewed them the tea. They wanted tea. I gave them the tea. That's it. I left. They weren't dead, but after that, what are you talking about?
Make sure the unconscious person is safe. I'm fucking room service.
Why are they all of a sudden my responsibility?
This is a cafe Nero.
They said yes then, sure. But unconscious people don't want tea.
How
If
do
someone
you
said
know?
yes to tea,
They said yes before they went unconscious. How do you know they still don't want the tea? If they were conscious, they probably say yes, right? I mean, so they probably still want the tea.
This is part of that lady's presentation that she unconsciously was talking about tea. She went, "Oh, I really wanted tea at
We
that
do some
point."
morning nonsense too. It'd be great.
Okay, we can watch this in one nonsense.
Clearly, this narrator doesn't understand that Southern hospitality goes both ways. Yeah.
So, Dev, you want this link for wanting nonsense?
Yeah, because
Okay,
pretty hilarious so far.
there we go. It
started drinking it, and then passed out before they'd finished it. Don't keep on pouring it down their throat.
Oh, you're not supposed.
Oh boy,
You're trying to tell me you're not supposed to do that?
that is awkward. That's like, oh, what do I do now? She was already drinking,
When does
officer. I
it
know.
ever happen? Who's holding a cup of tea and is in the middle of drinking it and just passes out unless you put a fruity in there or something?
It's like, they start drinking the tea. They
That'd be
pass out.
really embarrassing.
Is the guy standing above them Agent 47? Because otherwise, how do they pass out while drinking tea?
It's like they wanted tea. I was halfway done. Should I finish this job? I don't know. It seems like the right thing to do. I mean, I feel pretty bad if I didn't do the job properly.
It seemed like they were enjoying the tea. I guess they're just to pour the rest down their throat while they're unconscious.
Yes.
The fact that it's a British voice just makes it so much better.
Makes it sound more woke, so it's perfect.
Oh God!
Take the tea away. Make sure they are safe.
Tea away.
Because
Make sure they're
unconscious
safe.
people
They fall asleep. Take the tea away.
Unconscious people do not want tea. They do not make them tea if they are unconscious.
don't want tea. Trust me on this. If someone said yes to tea around your house last Saturday, that doesn't mean they want you to make them tea all the time. They don't want you to come around to their place unexpectedly and
What the hell is this? The obsessive compulsive tea maker. Did you say you wanted tea?
Hey, you can come over to my house for tea again. So I came over here to your house. You must have my tea.
Obviously, this is a big thing in Britain. It's like psychopathic tea makers.
Yeah, we used to have serial killers over here in America. We used to have serial killers. You have psychopathic tea makers. Much worse.
No, I'm in touch with humanity, so I'm sorry. You're not terribly important to me. Patrick Bateman, probably.
The British psycho.
Yeah.
I'm in touch with humanity.
Here's tea equals rape. Brewery stocks go down 1,000,000%. Yeah, well. Yeah, well, that could happen. It's possible. The juxtaposition between tea and well, trying to think of the business of humanity, but yeah, it could be anything. Your partner may want someone else's tea. Let them. Yeah, it's true.
Uh,
It's their fault they're asleep. You know, he's like, all right, well, I'm going to get some tea elsewhere. That's just how it goes.
Well, someone else was going to have my tea. I already made it. I was giving it to someone else.
Exactly. Punished Berserker. I don't know what he's talking about. I like being woken up by a girl, playing with my tea bag, and start. You know what? See, this is exactly what you want out of life. So, you know, I don't know who this message is for, but it's not for the ladies.
Is he going to explore the idea? Like, you have a fresh, piping hot cup of tea. It's very fresh. Is it okay to give that cup of tea to someone else because the person was had fallen asleep? It's fresh.
That would be polite. You don't want to waste good tea,
right? Yeah, it's polite to give someone else your tea if the other person is passed out. As you said, if they are unconscious, do not make them tea.
Put the tea down. Take the tea away. Pour that fucking tea down the sink. Throw it in the ocean.
Make them tea and force them to drink it. Going,
ding dong.
Hello, who is it? Get down.
There's some tea, damn it. It's tea time.
Now this guy's like a Batman villain now. It's tea time.
Where was the other tea bags going?
Oh, that'd be awesome. Like, instead of a drug dealer, he's just he runs like tea everywhere.
Illegal tea shipments.
You know how it's like Condiment King? Like,
oh yeah, there is the Clock King, Calendar Man, Condiment King or something. Now there's the Tea King or something.
Oh boy.
Sorry, Batman, you couldn't cut the mustard.
Now there's a bird theme villain, you know, Penguin and the Clown and Poison Ivy. Now there's the guy whose theme is tea.
It's so good. Swear to tea.
And that'd be awesome if he was awesome. So like he's the most devious, cunning ever.
I love how one of the comments was, "I'll never see PG tips the same again."
Oh, this is amazing.
but you wanted tea last week. Or to wake up to find you pouring tea down their throat, going, but you wanted tea last night?
In their house?
Wow. What is going on in Britain, guys?
You break into
delivery. Knock, knock. I'll just let myself in.
The guy just wakes up to the friend in their house, in their bed, force feeding them tea. What you wanted tea yesterday? Yeah, Dr. Crow has a perfect name for him. His name is Mr. T. I don't think that's been taken before.
Mr. T.
Like Mr. Freeze.
I pity the fool that don't drink tea.
Oh no, Mr. T. Mr. Freeze and Mr. T have teamed up. They've teamed up. Now they're going on a crime spree.
Oh.
The green tea bagger.
If you can understand how completely ludicrous it is to force people to have tea when they don't want tea, and you are able to understand.
No, I don't get it. No.
You think force feeding people tea is wrong?
Like, Mr. T just comes in here, starts forcing to drink tea. It's like, I never realized forcing people to drink tea was wrong.
So in Britain, is a joke? I gave your mom some tea last night.
Oh.
She wants the tea instead of the tea.
Understand when people don't want tea, then how hard is it to understand when it comes to sex? Whether it's tea or sex, consent is everything. And on that note, I'm going to make myself a cup of tea.
Gross. That's TMI. It's good, sir.
Yeah, that's a little too suggestive there, sir. I think you once you gave away the secret, then it's like, oh, I'm gonna go make myself some, you know what? So
Tyler Preston says Tea Titans. Yeah,
that's a good one. John Lemon, I hear the next Arkham game will be Thomas and Martha Wayne Simulator, where Alfred gives Bruce tea every morning. Oh
no, Alfred, what have you done?
Oh,
Butler did it.
Taking the joke in a totally different direction. That's John for you. Okay,
hey,
thank you, Ben.
Afternoon tea, Master Bruce. No, Alfred, no.
No.
Yeah, sorry, Master Bruce. It's tea is good for going boys.
Master Wayne.
Master Wayne.
Mr. Wayne, I got some tea for you.
That was a brilliant way to end in that whatever we just watched prior. I can't even remember it. This was so good.
And apparently the best way to start morning nonsense tomorrow.
Yes, do it. Wow, guys, thanks so much. That was really fun. John, I think you're on a roll there. I don't know what you're doing, but yeah, take it easy with the checking account there. Just slow down.
Make sure you have enough money to pay for food and rent.
Make more demands before you start throwing the green around. I think that's a better idea. Here's one before we go. Boshin, one person who would never deny tea, even while unconscious, is Picard.
Tea Earl Grey hot.
Yeah.
Tea, one thing we Picard likes his tea hot and steamy.
Unless it's the new Picard. Then it's
decaf. Well, he's older, so he likes
decaf. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now he's a cyborg or whatever android. So now I guess he can drink anything.
I mean, he's just with missionary tea. That's it's
just whatever works.
And that nasty cowgirl tea or something,
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, folks, that was really great. I wish we had everyone else around. That would have been fantastic. But always great with Shiny. Always great with LitDev. Thanks, guys, so much, John. You're a champ. You're a star. Go to investment banking, sir. You know what's good for you. And
maybe he is, and that's why he has so much money.
Maybe he already is. I don't need to tell him what to do. He knows what he's doing with his money. So thanks, folks, for tuning in. Keep those suggestions coming. We have a whole bunch to go through and vote on, but it's always new. There's always new ideas.
John Lindley says you could say Picard likes it hot. Yeah, he likes his tea hot, very hot.
Oh shit! Oh, Dr. Crow and wait, what? I'm now up to $30 a month. 30 quid a month.
Now
there you go, Shiny. You're getting there, buddy.
So apparently, Dr. Crow has pledged £5 twice.
Oh, nice.
Well, Shiny, you got to come up with better content and more content, and then just keep asking for more and keep giving you more. That's how it works.
People like those D&D things.
Oh yeah, those are great. So anyway, guys, thanks again. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you soon, and maybe we'll see you tomorrow on Morning Nonsense. But other than that, have a great evening. Thanks, guys, for tuning in.
Thank you, my patrons.